Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to City Hall. Oh, it's never a response. So, all right. Well done. That's good. Thank you all. Welcome to City Hall. We are here to have our most important meeting of the year. And I am going to go ahead and ask Madam Clerk to call the roll, please. I'm sorry. If you will, please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Now pass it over to Councilmember Freeman for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. It's our practice to stand to salute the flag and say the pledge together if you'd like to join us.
Madam Clerk, will you now please call the roll?
Mayor Williams,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Middleton,
I'm here.
Councilmember Baker,
Here.
Councilmember Caballero,
Here.
Councilmember Cook,
Here.
Councilmember Freeman,
Present.
Councilmember Rist.
Here.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
We'll now proceed with our ceremonial items. We have 2 items tonight before we get to the formal business. And Mayor Pro Tem will kick us off.
My thanks to His Honor the Mayor, to my honorable colleagues on the dais, to all of our staff, to our guests and friends in the room, and to our guests watching on whatever platform you may be watching tonight. It's my honor to kick off our ceremonial items with a very, very important proclamation on Cleft and Craniofacial Awareness Month. And I'm going to ask Isabella Roberts, Cleft and Craniofacial Team Patient, to come join me as I read this proclamation. Proclamation. Whereas orofacial clefts are the most frequently occurring birth differences in the United States, affecting about 1 in 700 infants per year. And whereas infants born with clefts and other craniofacial conditions usually require surgery, as well as specialized feeding support, dental and orthodontic care, speech therapy, hearing intervention, and social and emotional support as they grow and develop. And whereas this complexity of services needs to be provided in a synchronized manner over a period of years and are best provided by interdisciplinary cleft and craniofacial teams. And whereas organizations such as the Cleft Palate Foundation and the American Cleft Palate and Craniofacial Association serve populations affected by craniofacial differences and the professionals who care for them in order to help infants have a healthy start to life by providing their families with comprehensive information, support, and connections to these interdisciplinary items and teams. And whereas it is fitting and proper to recognize the efforts of organizations and programs such as the Cleft and Craniofacial Program at Duke University and its families, working to ensure a better life for those affected by cleft lip and palate and other craniofacial conditions. Now, therefore, I, Leonardo Williams, Mayor of the City of Durham, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim June 2025 as Cleft and Craniofacial Awareness Month in the City of Durham and urge all citizens to contribute however they are able to the support of families and organizations working to aid those affected by craniofacial birth differences. Witness my hand and the corporate seal of the City of Durham, North Carolina, this the 16th day of June, 2025. Leonardo Williams, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Williams. Good evening, everyone. My name is Isabella Roberts. I am 16 years old, and I was born with a bilateral cleft lip and palate. I am honored to receive the proclamation to bring awareness to cleft and craniofacial differences on behalf of my amazing team at the Duke Cleft and Craniofacial Center. Approximately 1 in 700 babies are born with a cleft lip and/or palate, making it one of the most common birth defects. A cleft condition can be isolated, or it may be inherited. Along with the cleft, some developmental challenges, such as problems with speech development, ear infections and hearing loss, dental issues, and even social and emotional challenges could be presented. There are several reasons that a child may be born with a cleft, and typically, parents will know about their baby's condition before the child is even born. That was not so in my case. No, it was nothing that the doctors missed or were negligent of. It was that every time my parents would get an ultrasound, my hands were in front of my face. In other words, my parents had no idea that I would be born with a cleft. Little did we know this was a small part in God's much bigger plan. My parents saw that our situation was much bigger than them, so they began to seek after God. My cleft has presented me with many opportunities, but the best and greatest of these is I've had the privilege to grow up in church. Without God, going through my childhood with a difference like a cleft would have been much, much harder. At a young age, I began to discover that I wasn't like everybody else, and I was painfully aware of my cleft. However, what I have come to realize is that a cleft is something to wear like a badge and not a scar. As a kid, no one enjoys going to the doctor's office, but since we had to travel out of town to be here, it always felt like a special trip, and the people at Duke Hospital definitely made it feel that way. Those who grow up with cleft and craniofacial differences face some difficulties, whether that's different operations, dental appliances, or even missing school. That part isn't too bad, though. Having to endure these different challenges can make you feel alone. I know I've definitely felt isolated before while going through different parts of my cleft journey. I mean, I had to crush up Cheetos in class in order for me to eat them because I had an expander. It's absolutely not what you want to be doing every day. That, however, was a mild inconvenience and less of a medical necessity. Though I have faced some difficult times, those closest to me have always been supportive and understanding. As a kid with a cleft, it's not every day that you see someone that looks like you, but when you do, it makes it that much more special. Now, as I've gotten older, I get excited rather than embarrassed when someone asks me about my cleft. And having a cleft doesn't hinder me from doing things that other kids my age do. I have a job at Chick-fil-A, a place where I get to show off the smile that my Duke team helped me build. I get to act in our school plays, I get to sing, and I have an amazing group of friends. And I know that I'm extremely privileged to have all of this, but I would not be this confident if I did not have a sure foundation in the Lord. Though I have had 3 surgeries and more dental appliances than I can count on one hand, I'm extremely lucky to have, in the grand scheme of things, faced so little. I'm also so thankful that I've had an amazing team every step of the way. The Duke Cleft and Craniofacial team makes it their mission to provide each kid with the best care that they can give. And while most of this is physical care, they also help each kid to feel confident and feel proud of their cleft. Without this team, I would not have had the confidence to stand before you today and open up about what it's like to be born a little different from the rest. Without my Duke team, I would also probably have a few more perfect attendance awards, but I won't hold a grudge, except maybe for 3rd grade, but we'll see. Having this team truly has shown me what a great impact an individual can be, and whether that be by a smile or by showing someone that their difference isn't so different. Remember, different is the best kind of awesome.
All right. Thank you, Isabella. As I just whispered to her, I said, she makes Durham better. So, Aya, I just saw, oh, okay, there she is. Come on, join me up here. And if you have guests who would like to join as well, are you good? Anyone else? All right, cool. All right, cool. Oh, they're coming. Got me feeling all Afrocentric up here now. I left my African print at home. I have a lot of it in the house. A special proclamation here. Whereas Durham is a city that takes pride in its rich history and finds value in acknowledging and celebrating its full past. And whereas the city of Durham recognizes it owes much to the indigenous and African ancestors whose bones, blood, tears, and sweat were fertilizer to tobacco fields and mortar to factory bricks. The city of Durham stands in solidarity with these freedom-seeking and freedom-defending communities to create opportunities for them to celebrate and pass down their legacy and their stories. And whereas the Proclamation of Emancipation signed by President Abraham Lincoln in 1863 was in Durham's own St. Paul Mary's words, a historical and documentary recognition of an accomplished fact. Durham promises to protect and proclaim the liberty of its residents. And whereas the presenting neighborhoods and organizers of the Durham Juneteenth Collective, Be Connected Durham and Beyond, Bragtown Community Association, Merrick Moore Community Development Corporation, National Museum of Art, North Durham Farmers Market, True Heart Consulting LLC, Village of Wisdom Incorporated, West End Lion Park Legacy Project, and Whistle Stop Tours are unified by their pride. The City of Durham supports the organization of Juneteenth events in joyous celebration of Black achievement and resilience to the benefit of all its residents and visitors. Now, therefore, I, Leonardo Williams, Mayor of the City of Durham, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim June 14th through June 14th through the 22nd, 2025, as Juneteenth Week 2025 in the city of Durham, and urge all residents to observe the cultural significance of the week in our history. Witness my hand and the corporate seal of the city of Durham, North Carolina, this 14th day of June. Thank you.
Okay, can you all hear me? All right. So good evening, Mayor Williams, Durham City Council members, and Durham neighbors. I am Aya Shabu, and I am the creator of Whistle Stop Tours and a proud member of the Durham Juneteenth Collective. On behalf of our organizing neighborhoods, Bragtown and the West End, Hayti, Merrick Moore, and North Durham, and beyond, I thank you all for sharing this year's Juneteenth proclamation with us. For the past 5 years, our neighborhoods have come together not just to celebrate, but to organize joyfully, crafting free public Juneteenth events that affirm the dignity, history, and culture of Black Durham. This proclamation acknowledges what we already know, that freedom is not just another date on a calendar, but is the collective practice. Whether we're gathering on porches or in parks, former churches, national historic landmarks, or in farmers markets, we come to honor Juneteenth. We do so in the spirit of our ancestors, who dreamed boldly and organized bravely. We are called not just to remember, but to build. With every drum beat, with every dance step, with every waving of flag and story told, we are marching towards justice, we are marching towards healing. and towards a Durham where Black genius is seen, celebrated, and sustained. These neighborhood celebrations they're not just symbolic, but they circulate real dollars. Through the Juneteenth Collective, we hire Durham artists, musicians, and event workers. We feature local vendors and Black-owned businesses. We draw residents and visitors to Black neighborhoods who generate traffic, foot traffic, pride, and revenue. This is a cultural celebration, but it is also an economic and preservation strategy. We work directly to advance the city's goals of an inclusive Durham. We highlight Black history, we build cross-neighborhood partnerships, and we ensure that events are free and accessible to the public. Before I close, I want to invite my fellow members to be celebrated along with me, the Durham Juneteenth Collective, members of Be Connected, Bragtown Community Association, Merrick Moore CDC, North Durham Farmers Market, True Heart Consulting, Village of Wisdom, West End Lion Park Legacy Project, and Whistle Stop Tours. Please recognize these amazing organizers in our community as we accept this honor and privilege, not just for us, but for generations who came before us and made this moment real, and for those who will come after us and inherit a city that we are shaping right now. Thank you, and happy Juneteenth.
All right, thank you. And we will now move to council announcements. As colleagues, this is our last meeting of the fiscal year. So I'll oblige to our commentary at this time. And as always, I'll start with Councilmember Cook.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to start local and build out, I think. So this week I had the opportunity to take a tour of the Southern Wastewater Facility with Councilmember Freeman. So I just want to give a shout out to Jennifer, who's the treatment supervisor, Charlie, who is a facility supervisor, Dirk, Don, Sid, Joe, for taking us on that tour. It was very hot, but we learned a lot about waste management and how your fees are being used in our water treatment facilities. Secondly, I want to wish everyone happy Juneteenth. I have some amazing upcoming events on my calendar. I hope I'm able to get to all of them. I know that there's things happening at Wheels, there's things happening at historic Stagville, the Black Farmers Market, just to name a few. Several community groups are having their own Juneteenth celebrations, and I'm really excited to celebrate with y'all. The third thing I want to say is to just acknowledge that tonight is a big night. We're dealing with a lot of really serious concerns for the Durham population, and I want to put us in a context of the broader country and also the world. We're seeing a great time of strife and violence. We're having to hold and witness things that I really don't think that individuals should have to witness. Across this country, we're seeing assassination or attempted assassinations on elected officials. We've seen the mobilization of the National Guard against communities for the purposes of liberating them from their duly elected officials. And abroad, too, we've seen continuing violence in Sudan. We've seen aggression from Israel in the Middle East, dropping bombs on Iran, starving folks in Gaza, and then shooting them as they come to get food. It is a lot to hold, and then to have a meeting tonight where we sit and grapple with giving a grant to our local housing authority, which provides almost all of our affordable housing in Durham, but which has had issues in the past, the type of places that they provide for our citizens. We're having to talk about a budget where we have discussed raising taxes in order to ensure that our folks that are working for the city have a minimum living wage, and that there are other services that we can provide. We have to balance what a lot of you are here for, which is possible development in a historically underinvested community. And as we're doing all of these things, I just want to say that it is a really tough job to sit up here, and it is a real privilege to be able to do it. And I'm so honored by the community investment and involvement and engagement. Thank you so much for all of your comments. Thank you so much for working with the city, for your volunteering your time, for sitting on our boards and commissions. In this time of just intense violence and strife, our neighbors, our community members, our local governments are really who keep us safe. And I'm really heartened by how much I know Durham has and will continue to stand up for each other. So thank you so much. And I look forward to what I'm sure is going to be a spirited evening on this dais.
No way. Colleagues, I will ask you to reserve your budgetary comments till the budget, if that's okay. We'll just open up with general comments now so we can get going. The budget has been pulled, so we'll chat then. All right, Mr. Baker.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for those comments, Councilmember Cook. I think they embody a lot of my feelings here as well. The Housing Authority is one of the few players in town that does permanent affordable housing, long-term affordable housing. It is chronically defunded and underfunded by the federal government, as we all know. The other player in town, one of the major players in town, is the Durham Community Land Trust. I was able to attend an event this weekend on Grant Street with the Durham Community Land Trust, Miss Brenda, who's a longtime resident of Grant Street, and many other folks there who have put in a lot of work to build more permanent affordable housing on Grant Street. So that was good to see. I also went to the No Kings rally in March this weekend. It was one of the largest political gatherings that I've seen in the city of Durham, having grown up here. I think it was over 5,000 people, and just shows how, I mean, we're pissed off up here. People are pissed off in the community at how widely corrupt our federal government is, kind of always, but at this moment especially. You know, we have so many problems that we're trying to work on, working collaboratively with our partners and community members. We have unhoused people. We have people who are regularly getting shot and injured in our community, people who lack child care and health care, just the things that people need on a daily basis. And it feels like the federal government every single day is just sending money overseas to the military-industrial complex and the prison contractors and to genocide and tax cuts for the mega rich. And so we have to deal with the consequences there. But it was wonderful to see the number of people that showed up largely in agreement with one another, at least on some of the big issues. Also looking around at other cities around the country, I'm grateful to the Durham Police Department for not brutalizing residents and doing a pretty good job of crowd control this weekend. And then lastly, I just want to say to our communications director, Beverly Thompson, again, just want to say thank you so much for all the work that you've done here at the City of Durham. It's been wonderful. As I've mentioned before, I've seen the outcome of your work, and whenever I see you in the hall, I mean, you're just so dedicated, long-time dedication to the City of Durham, and congratulate you on your retirement. Thank you.
I'm not accepting it yet, though. Councilmember Freeman. No comment. Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. I do want to just wish everyone a happy Juneteenth, and also thank the Juneteenth Collective for making sure we didn't miss that proclamation this year. I had the, before I go on, I do want to also say Happy Father's Day again. I know it was missed in the last meeting, and I know it was yesterday, and for those who were honoring those fathers, dads, uncle dads, stepdads, all those male figures that have played huge roles in children's lives. I do want to just make sure I take a moment and thank you all and say, without fathers, it's kind of hard to see children through the village. And so it's incredibly important. I did want to just share that one father who passed this weekend will not be with his family, and it's a big hit to our community in the passing of this person that I can't not mention it and say that we've got to figure out how to make sure we're supporting families and young people who are losing their parents, because this is where things get real sketchy in our communities. And so just making sure that people are checking in on children who are losing their parents, even if they are adult children, just making sure you wrap your arms around them. I also want to greatly appreciate Councilmember Cook for kind of laying out the national, international, and all the way back down to local, so I don't necessarily have to cover every bit of it. I surely cannot remember each and everything, but it's great to have members on council who bring that type of power in the room. I am also deeply, deeply concerned in my neighborhood. There's been 2 shootings in the last 2 weeks where 2 young girls have been wounded. And I know that these conversations can get hairy, but I do know that blaming them for the shootings or blaming the shooter for the shooting is not where I want to start. And so I want to make sure that we do pour in. This summer is going to be a rough one. Just knowing those always have retaliations and repercussions and reverberations throughout the community. And so I just want folks to be mindful and smile hard, hug children more, and just be kind. I had a very hard weekend, spending time with folks. And I had a chance to get to the memorial service for Atreus Good, and really just thinking about what the work he's done for our community and how he's contributed, and also how there's been harm. It's a really hard tension to hold, because I know there are a lot of people in our community who know folks who have been harmful in our community, and we hold them accountable. We make sure that there's restorative support, and it's hard to know, it's hard knowing that wasn't necessarily effective in this case. And I just want to leave that in the air. I did appreciate the opportunity to go visit the South Wastewater and Treatment Facility, and knowing that those folks working behind the scenes to keep our water clean and safe are doing that every minute of the day, every hour, every moment. And I really want to say thank you to our staff who's always behind the scenes. We don't see them, we don't hear from them, and we know you're out there. So I just want to make sure I say thank you. And I do want to remind folks that Disaster Preparedness Week is coming up, and I know that there are a number of events planned, and just keep an eye out. I want to make sure that folks are prepared as we will come up on hurricane season. It's very different because emergency disasters, especially with the increased climate change and potentials for wildfire and flooding, these are all things that we're not necessarily paying attention to or talking about. But if we don't, you can get missed, or you can actually lose your life in this. And so just being prepared, being mindful of people in our community who are less able, mobile, and especially folks with mental health challenges. Being prepared with a plan to support your neighbors is helpful. And I think that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rist.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, colleagues, staff, residents. Thanks for being here. Folks online as well. Good evening. Yeah, happy Juneteenth, and great resolution for the Juneteenth Collective. So good to see you all here. And I'm so sorry, I just emailed with Ms. Evans. I'm not going to be here this week, and I'm so bummed about that. It'll be great as always. And so thanks for being here, and thanks for always throwing a big party on Juneteenth. Also want to say happy Father's Day to everyone, and to my sons out there in California. They're working now. They're not listening to this meeting, for a nice call yesterday. So again, wonderful celebration of Father's Day. And again, thanks to my two sons. I wanted to give a shout out to someone who probably needs no introduction. That's Mamie Webb Bledsoe, who had her retirement party last Saturday, June 7th. Councilmember Freeman was there, Mayor O'Neill was there, a great event. Amazing career and life of impact in Durham. As one person said at the party, her blueprint and imprint will be forever embedded in the fabric of Durham. You know, and that work includes in the West End where she grew up, including the creation of the Lyon Park Center, also her work in the West End to create the Pauli Murray Center. She worked for decades at Duke at the Office of Duke Regional Affairs. And finally, I know Mamie most closely as a member of the Durham Housing Authority Board. She's the chair. And so I just want to say to Mamie, well done, good and faithful servant. I look forward to working with you more on the Durham Housing Authority Board. And thanks so much for your years and years of service to this community. The following Monday, and Councilmember Caballero was also along with me, we both did a solid waste ride-along. So I got to tell you, what an experience riding around East Durham on the back of a rear-end loading truck. Unbelievable experience. I'm not going to say it was fun. It was like hard work. As you all know, it's probably the hardest job in the city of Durham. And, you know, I got to do it for a day with these guys, and they got up the next morning and did it again. So this is incredibly hard work to keep our city clean and safe. I want to thank Wayne Fenton and his staff at Solid Waste for organizing the visit. A big shout out to T-Mac and Damien and Jeremy on the truck, who allowed me as a rookie to be on there for a day and not slow them down too much. But you know, it's amazing to see what our community throws away on a daily basis. There's so much to say. There's too much to say now. I will say we throw away a lot of recyclables in our waste stream. I know I think we've got another person, I think, in solid waste this year to do more community outreach about education about that, if I'm not mistaken. So we need to do better as a community, but again, thanks so much to the dedicated staff at Solid Waste, and thanks for allowing me to be on your team for one day last week. I was out of town this weekend, but I also want to thank the residents who came out to the No Kings rally and exercised their constitutional rights. My mother was one of them, as always, and she did say, Councilmember Baker, she made a note that she really appreciated the police being very accommodating. I know folks were supposed to be on the sidewalks, weren't always on the sidewalks, but I really appreciate DPD, Chief Anders and her staff for being accommodating for all the folks who wanted to express their views this weekend. You know, on a somber note, you know, right on the heels of discussing homelessness last week at our city-county meeting, we got the news that the Urban Ministries of Durham had let go 7 staff because they've had a $400,000 drop in their budget due to a loss of federal funds and some lagging fundraising. I know this council and the county commission will wrestle about how we can work together to support Urban Ministries of Durham, and I urge all the citizens here in attendance and those online to think about being generous to Urban Ministries of Durham. It's one of our critical support organizations. Our homeless population has been increasing, and so this is the worst thing that can happen at this time. I know a lot of nonprofits are challenged, and so I again urge you all to be generous to our nonprofit community that is so critical in providing support and services to make this a more beloved community. And finally, I appreciate Councilmember Cook identifying a lot of national issues that are of great concern to this community and folks around the nation. I do want to say that my hearts go out to the people of Minnesota and the family of Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark after their brutal murder this weekend. All of these events at some point come home, and this one does come home as well. As you probably heard in the news, Mark grew up in Raleigh and went to UNC. And you know, my neighbors and friends have asked me in the last couple of days, hey, are you scared? And the answer is, like, I don't want to think about it, but yeah, I'm scared sometimes. So I just want to give a shout out to the folks here who provide security in this building every day, police officers and security staff, and yeah, ask them to continue helping to make sure that we are safe in this building. And to the extent we can, I know we don't have the ability to control guns, which is really ailing us, but urge our community as much as we can to keep folks safe and resist the kind of violence that has touched people in Minnesota, which is so awful, so tragic. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and to my honorable colleagues. And really easy with this group to just associate yourself with everything that's been said, because your announcements are always so universal and far-reaching and impactful, and I thank each of you. I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for some really wonderful proclamations. I want to personally thank you for allowing me to read the Cleft and Craniofacial Awareness Month proclamation. As a person who lives with a speech impediment, a managed speech impediment, not caused by a cleft, but in getting treated for my speech impediment very early in my life, I encountered a lot of fellow treatees, patients, if you will, who were dealing, some of the most bravest and upstanding people you can imagine who were dealing with those issues at so early in life. So I want to thank Duke for the work that they have going on around cleft and craniofacial treatments. And then, of course, our Juneteenth proclamation. If you ever needed evidence why local government matters, tonight we did something that the Pentagon can't do, that the State Department can't do, that the VA can't do. They can't celebrate Juneteenth because it's DEI, but we can here in the city, and we will, and we have. So if you ever needed evidence of the importance of local voices and local government, please remember what happened here tonight. The ending of slavery in the United States of America is not DEI, it's just American history. And I want to thank our friends who are planning wonderful celebrations for this week. Finally, I'll end. I'm excited about this historic evening, this potentially historic evening with our budget on the horizon tonight. I look forward to discussions about that. I will finally end by associating myself with those that have sent out condolences and well wishes to our friends in Minnesota. Friends, we know a lot of these people who serve in local government. We fellowship with them and work with them at conferences around the country. Imagine getting a death threat because of what you do at work. I don't care whether it's working fast food or doing accounting or doing surgery. Imagine getting an email threatening your life for what you do at work. Many of us up here have gotten those emails for what we do at work. These are incredibly perilous times. These are incredibly challenging times. And I just want to take this time to affirm the contract that we have as folk that are trying to carve out shared space into democracy. That's really what we're doing. We're trying to just carve out shared space without killing each other. That's the genius of democracy. We have to be careful how we talk to each other and how we talk about each other. For those of us that hold power, it's incumbent upon us not to use the levers of power to harm people, not to send the Durham PD to harass people, not to use the tax office to harass people or to otherize people and make them victims. That's our responsibility for those of us that hold power. For those who don't but are part of the public square, it's our responsibility also not to talk about people in ways that make people think it's all right to harm them. That's the contract. Whether you're in office or not, we've got to govern ourselves how we talk about people. Listen, this is Durham. If you come for our folk, we will defend. But even in Durham, no matter how vile or offensive your views are, we don't kill people. We don't beat people up for having different views. We can't excuse it. We can't contextualize it. We can't soften it at all. So tonight, our prayers and our best wishes go out. They go out to my colleagues here on this dais. Some stuff you'll never know about and you'll never see in the news. But I want each and every person up here to know, I know some of the things that are said to you and some of the things that are said about you, no matter what side of the issue you're on. And as a citizen of Durham, I'm thankful for your service. And I pray for each of you every day, for your safety, for your wisdom, for your discernment, and I'm thankful for your courage and willingness to do this. This should not require bravery to do this job in that sense. Courage in other ways, but not whether or not somebody's going to gun you down. So we continue to pray for our nation. We will continue to be Durham. Thank you, Sister Deidreana, for bringing up shootings this week. We continue to be gripped as a city by gunfire. We'll continue to say, doesn't matter how tall our buildings get, how great our restaurants are, we will always have an asterisk next to whatever list we're on, as long as less than 2 miles from our city center, children are jumping in bathtubs because of gunfire every night. It must be issue number one for us in Durham, and it should be. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those words. Thank you. Councilmember.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being with us. I'm going to start with just some celebratory things. I do want to shout out Beverly Thompson, who has been an incredible comms director, has leaned in so heavily in language access work and ensuring that our residents really can get the information that they need. Thank you so much for your service to the city. And I'm getting some feedback. Oh, there, okay, calm down. I also want to shout out Chris Benjamin, who is the city worker who let me ride around in his solid waste truck. And yes, I did get to use the lever and dump some recycling into the truck and was terrified I was going to spread it all over the road. Those are my kind of fun celebratory things. I do also want to shout out all DPS graduates. At the end of last week, including my middle kid, there were a lot of students that graduated Durham Public Schools. My middle child graduated from Riverside on Friday, and I think also Commissioner Mike Lee's son was part of that class, so I do want to shout those folks out. So while I was in the celebratory weekend, right, Father's Day, your second kid's graduating from high school, we get the news about Minnesota, we get the news about Iran, we get the news that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people protesting across this country for many, many injustices. And we also know that there are two deeply racist and anti-immigrant bills in our General Assembly that we need Governor Stein to veto. And that is State Bill 153 and House Bill 318. He has until Friday. That is his clock. So I urge all Durham residents to please call the governor to veto those bills. At this time, in this moment, we cannot ask and we cannot let ICE have more power than they already do. We have to stand up. We have to be courageous. And I think about this often. So many of you know I'm Chilean. And what does that mean in this moment? That means my family fled political violence. My father is an academic. He came to study and get a PhD. He could not go back to Chile because there were very few universities open that were still offering jobs. We stayed because there was no more economic opportunity for him and people like him. My uncle was an attorney who was blacklisted, who had to flee to Canada. We were lucky and we got him out of jails. My grandmother had enough social and political connections to get him out while he was being detained before he was transferred to the stadium. You didn't want to get transferred to the stadium because the chances of you coming out were non-existent. He's one of the lucky ones. He fled to the US. His professors, when he studied at the University of Madison, Wisconsin, got him out. He lived in the United States for many years and then was blacklisted and could not practice law for many, many years until there was a return of democracy. And he's one of the lucky ones. He's alive. Well, he unfortunately passed during COVID, but he was also able to return back to his practice. That is not the case with many folks. Over 3,000 Chileans died on our 9/11. They're still uncovering mass graves of folks who they find. And there's now a museum in Santiago that I visited a few years ago. And it's the Museo de la Memoria y de los Derechos Humanos, Museum of Memory and Human Rights. And when you walk into the lobby, there are pictures of the thousands of Chileans who were detained, tortured, murdered, and disappeared. I don't want another museum like that in this country. We have plenty of our own deep suffering in the history of this country that we already have museums dedicated to. We don't need to add to that painful history. We need to make a different future for ourselves. I don't want to be 70 years old and going into a museum remembering those who were kidnapped and detained in this cycle as we march down to authoritarianism. I already lived that history. It's already in my DNA. It's already my family's legacy. I don't need to pass it on to my kids. I don't need the second generation of public school student in North Carolina, my kids, to have to flee. I don't want your families to have to flee. I don't want anyone in this room to make the hard decision of what does it mean when you have to leave, because it's safer to go somewhere else, even if you don't know what's going to happen to you, than to stay here. So I need everyone in this room, and we did a really good job on Saturday. I need everyone in this room to continue to stand up for your rights. Every single person on this dais pledges to the Constitution of this country and the Constitution of the state. That's what you pledge to. You do not pledge to leaders. You do not pledge to parties. You pledge to something, to an idea that is bigger than yourself. It's also what you say when you become a citizen, when you're a naturalized citizen. And so I urge every Durhamite to continue to hold their neighbors I urge you to continue to challenge powers that are trying to fundamentally change this country, because I can tell you from experience, you don't want to be on the other side of that path. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we are at the last meeting of the fiscal year, and it's been a great year of working with you all on this dais. And I would not change that for the world. I love all you guys. I don't like you always, but I love you guys. But I think about what's happening around the world and around this country. I think about what's happening around the state. And more and more and more, I am so grateful to be the mayor of Durham, North Carolina. We could be anywhere else, and trust me, it is not like this. And as wild and crazy as things are at the federal level, we are almost in a utopia. And that's not okay. That's not okay. But it does give me hope that we can be the beacon and the guiding light and the example for the rest of this country of how we, can sometimes disagree without being disagreeable, cannot always be on the same page, but can work together, and can be equally passionate about something, although we may come from different perspectives on it. So colleagues, I say to you that I'm grateful for you. We lost a friend on Father's Day. And if somebody calls you and, you don't call them back, just call them back. Because you never know when you're going to be able to make that call or if you'll ever be able to. We lost a good friend, Dennis Garrett. You'll be hard-pressed to find someone more committed to just being embedded, boots on the ground in their own community. So I just want to pay homage to his family and his sons. On a higher note, shout out to Greensboro. I spent time in Greensboro this weekend. They had an early city black food truck rodeo for the Juneteenth celebration, and I guess they wanted some swagger on the program, so they invited the mayor of Durham to be their keynote speaker. Greensboro has a mayor, but they called Durham, and it was fun to go there. I did go there after speaking at my home church, so for those who are watching, thanks for bringing me home to speak this weekend at Pleasant Hill Baptist Church in Scotland Neck, North Carolina. It was great to see the folks that raised me. They all are really proud. And they all say the same thing. I love seeing you on the news. Like, it's not always a good thing. They don't really care. They just see me on the TV screen. It's on me, I guess. But yeah, shout out to Durham, man. They were been having some talks with Mayor Karen Bass just about what's happening with, how the federal government loves to pick on LA, and they have a target on many of us. And there are many folks that like to give their own narrative about us as elected officials. From the fires in LA to, the first protest. Listen, this is America. We have the right to protest. We have the right to let our voices be heard. And I'm so grateful for the over 5,000 people that showed up in Durham. I'm grateful for the 100 people that showed up on Thursday with signs rallying around, what's happening with ICE and just, folks that they can't touch being able to speak up for their neighbors, our residents. So I'm grateful for them, stood out there with them. And to the kid that said that was cool, I promise I wasn't trying to show off, but I couldn't get to the march, but I did get a chance to drive through, and I put my top down on my wife's car, and I just got really wild. I threw my fist in the air. I was like, yeah. That was so fun, and just shout out to the folks that showed up, all the signs that were really cool. Thank you for making sure that Durham joined I can't say resistance, but I just said resistance. Thank you for everyone that just stood up and made sure their voices were heard. Madam Attorney, I know. Happy Father's Day to everyone. I spent quite a bit of time on the phone with my son, who's building a bridge with 13 other Duke students in Swaziland, Eswatini. If interested, go check out their Instagram page, Eswatini Bridge. They are Durham students that are building a bridge for kids in South Africa, in Swaziland, so that they can stop drowning when they're trying to get home, crossing the river during rainy season. And it just gives me great pride, not only that my son is there, but we have kids from Durham that are over mixing cement and building the base for this wire bridge. So yeah, happy Father's Day to everyone. I'm wearing this orange tie tonight because it is Gun Violence Awareness Month. And I just, will constantly project this out into the community. And if you get tired of me talking about gun violence, and if you get tired of me talking about the lives lost in our community, whether they are killing or being killed, if you get tired of me talking about the conditions that promote this type of behavior, then you need to check yourself. You might have a problem. If a child dying or losing their life and you've become numb to it, you have a problem. And I will never stop talking about it. I'm not going to get nuanced with it. We don't need to. It is really simple. Kids are dying in our streets. Period. We're losing the lives of young people at a far too high rate than we should. And those are the kids that are killing, those are the kids that are getting killed, and it is the condition which is making this okay. And that, no matter how technical city government gets, no matter how technical social issues get in the community, number one priority is our kids, period. So I'm going to continue to highlight that and continue to bring that to the forefront of every value that I state. That being said, I find myself with kids every week, once or twice in a school. Today, I went to the Ivy Community Center to their STEAM camp, and I spent time with the young boys and girls. And I gave them the statistics on homicides in our city. And I gave them the age range. And I made it very clear that they were already making the right decision of being at this camp rather than being out in the streets. And I made sure that they understood the importance of decision-making, making good decisions. So shout out to the AKAs for inviting me in today. Really appreciated that. I too wanted to highlight the cuts in case, we're just getting numb to the news around federal cuts and the behavior of the federal government. I played it very careful on how much I spoke out about what's happening at the federal level. And when it comes to ICE, I understand that, when they come to town, they won't let our police chief know, they won't let our sheriff know, they won't let us know. It just happens. So I'm very careful about, what I project publicly. But mainly what's happening at the federal government is outright disrespectful and irresponsible. Families are hurting here at the ground level. Period. And now here we are where our social construct is being hit hard. Urban Ministries is a partner of the city and the county to manage homeless services. And they have just received a significant blow of funds, upwards of $400,000. They've had to lay off several staff members. So I'm going to say publicly tonight, I am calling on our corporate community, I'm calling on our philanthropy community to please find a way to find yourself in a position where you're helping to fill this gap with us. because if we do it just out of the tax base, we are going to make it so expensive that our folks that can't go back in the job market, that may own their homes, we're going to raise taxes so high on them that they will drown. And we cannot lose our elderly population. We cannot lose folks that are just not making enough money. We can't keep doing this to them. So we need people to step in and fill the gap. So I'm calling publicly for our community, especially our corporate community, to help fill this gap. That being said, I wanted to once again thank Duke University Medical School for inviting me in to do a panel on gun violence with Dr. Malcolm DeBond. This is part of a grant we wrote together to plainly and simply keep black boys out of the dang emergency room from gunshot wounds. And Dr. Wanda Boone and, well, many community members were there in the audience, and I'm looking forward to bringing this, it's really stabilizing this collaborative to continue this work community-wide. And again, shout out to the 15 organizations that receive funding from the Bull City Future Fund. I'm already seeing the work. For you all that don't know, we were able to give out $300,000 in partnership with the United Way of the Greater Triangle and the Triangle Community Foundation. $300,000 directly invested into youth organizations in this community, and they will be expanding their footprint. So thank you to all of them. That being said, let's get to work. All right, Mr. Manager, you ready?
Yes, sir.
An hour later, and announcements and ceremonial items. It's going to be a long night. Let's do it.
Mr. Mayor, the City Manager's Office does have one priority item this evening. Agenda item number 24. This was a condemnation action to obtain one area of fee simple and one easement at 401 Maureen Road for the bicycle and pedestrian improvement projects, SW-47. This item has been referred back to the General Services Department. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Attorney.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. It's good to be with you. The City Attorney's Office has no priority items tonight.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, welcome back.
Thank you very much. I would like to say that the City Clerk's Office has no priority items, and it's great to be here.
Thank you. At this time, I will read our consent agenda. Colleagues, items number 6, 40, and 41 have been pulled. And number 10 and, oh, that's, yeah. Number 15, yeah, 41 is a public hearing. Number 15 as well has been pulled. No, that's a resource. All right.
These are resources. 10 and 15 are resources, Mayor.
Okay, 10 and 15.
Yeah, they're
All right.
just, so those are not pulled.
Okay.
I do see item 8.
Number 8. 41 is a public hearing. Yeah, 41 is a public hearing. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, number 6 and number 8 as well. Madam Clerk, for, let's just remember for, if the person is a resource and a part of the applicant team, let's place applicant rather than proponent or opponent. It'll help me better decipher the two. Yeah, number 8.
Number 41 is a public hearing.
Yeah, number 41. All right, at this time, I'll read the consent agenda. Item number 1, Durham Convention Center Authority mayoral appointment. Number 2, Durham Workers' Rights Commission appointment. Number 3, Durham Convention Center Authority appointment. Number 4, Participatory Budgeting Steering Committee appointment. Number 5, Housing Appeals Board appointment. Number 6, fiscal year 2025-2026 budget and 2026-2031 capital improvement plan, CIP ordinance, and other related ordinances. Yep. Number 7, Durham Housing Authority, DHA, operational assistance loan commitment. I'm going to pull that one. Number 8, amendment to interlocal agreement for City County Strategic Youth Initiative. Number 9, yeah, number 8 is pulled. Number 9, amendment to interlocal agreement between the City and County of Durham for inspections services. Number 10, contract with North Carolina Coalition to End Homelessness, NCCEH, to provide homeless management information system lead agency services. Number 11, approval of contract between the City of Durham and Habitat for Humanity of Durham to administer the City of Durham Minor Repair Program. Number 12, approval of the contract between the City of Durham and Hilliard Lawn Maintenance Incorporated to provide landscaping services for city-owned properties. Number 14, First Amendment to Contract 19650 with Housing for New Hope Incorporated for the provision of landlord engagement services. Number 15, Second Amendment to Contract 19376 with Volunteers of America of the Carolinas Incorporated for the provision of coordinated entry with diversion services. Number 16, 2025 Amendment to City of Durham and County of Durham interlocal agreement regarding homeless services and the Homeless Services Advisory Committee. Number 17, execute the Durham City-County interlocal agreement for continuation of the gain reduction strategy. Number 18, revised Small Local Business Enterprise SLBE ordinance. Number 19, contract with the Axios for Fire Department facility study. Number 20, City Hall space reconfiguration design contract with Array Architects Incorporated. Number 21, amendment to interlocal cooperation agreement with the Housing Authority of the City of Durham to procure and install security equipment. Number 22, contract with Folded Poetry LLC for public art at City Hall. Number 23, condemnation action to obtain 2 easements at 302 Marine Road for the Bicycle and Pedestrian Improvements Project, SW 47. Condemnation action to obtain 1 area fee simple and 1 easement at 401 Marine Road for the Bicycle and Pedestrian Improvements Project 47 SW 47. This has been referred back to staff. Okay. Number 25, update on the redevelopment of 505 West Chapel Hill Street. Number 26, condemnation action to obtain 2 easements at 700 Marine Road for the Bicycle and Pedestrian Improvements Project, SW 47. Number 27, Garrett Road Park Restroom Sewer Connection Design Contract with RVE Incorporated. Number 28, contract with Symmetra Life Insurance Company for stop-loss insurance coverage. Number 29, Fifth Amendment to fiscal year 2022-2026 contract to fund Downtown Durham Municipal Service District operations provided by Downtown Durham Incorporated.
Mr. Mayor, can I pull that one? For the purposes of voting, I need to recuse myself from the vote.
Thank you. Number 30, fiscal year 2025-2026 agreement to fund economic development programs and services operated by Downtown Durham, Inc. using City of Durham funds.
Same with that one, yeah, thank you.
Number 31, contract with E+ Incorporated for implementation of the Metropolitan Area Network. Number 32, Durham Station License Agreements. Number 33, agreement with Greenwood RRST LLC for propane auto gas supply. Number 34, construction award to TerraFlex Group LLC for the American Tobacco Waterline Replacement Phase 2 project. Number 35, professional services contract award to Raptelis Financial Consultants Incorporated for utility rate, financial, and management consulting services. Number 36, service contract with McKim and Creed Incorporated for lead service line inventory field verification project for disadvantaged areas. Number 37, professional services contract to award McKim and Creed Incorporated for the South Durham Water Reclamation Facility tertiary filter replacement and miscellaneous process rehabilitation items. Number 38, award of non-professional services contract to Dukes Root Control Incorporated for the sewer outfall inspection program South Project. Number 43, contract with Word Systems LLC for NICE system maintenance. Number 45, contract for implementation of CityWorks permitting, licensing, and land management software with Timmons Group Incorporated on GBA. General business agenda. Number 13, approval of the contract between the City of Durham and Legal Aid of North Carolina to administer the City of Durham Eviction Diversion Program. Number 39, zoning map change, Methodist Street Townhomes. Number 40, zoning map change, 1606 and 1608 East Cornwallis Road. Number 41, zoning map change, 401 East Lakewood Avenue.
Make a motion to adopt the consent agenda with the exceptions of 6, 7, 29, and 30?
6, 7, 8.
8, 7, 8, 29, and 30.
Right.
Second.
One moment.
Are you clear with that, Mayor? I have 6, 7, 8, 29, 30.
Yep, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 6, 7, 8, 29, and 30. Moved by Councilmember Cook, seconded by, was it Baker? Seconded by Mr. Baker, Councilmember Baker. Madam Clerk, will you please open the vote? Please close the vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Number 6 is the budget. All right, colleagues, I'm going to go out of order just a bit.
Recusals.
Yep. That was 29 and 30, right?
29 and 30.
Yep.
TDI.
Yeah. All right. First, I'm going to entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to execute the Fifth Amendment to the fiscal year 2022-2026 contract to fund Downtown Durham Municipal Service District operations provided by Downtown Durham Incorporated in the amount of $2,278,030 for fiscal year 2025-2026 for a total contract amount not to exceed $8,370,230, subject to City Council budget authorization.
Moved as read.
It's been moved.
Second.
Yep, Mr. Mayor, just again to clarify, as a DDI representative, I'm recusing myself from that vote. Thank you. Out of abundance of caution.
Let it be stated, Councilmember Riss will recuse. Madam Clerk, please open the vote. It's been moved and properly seconded. Please close the vote.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. And I'll also entertain a motion to authorize.
I mean 6-0.
Madam Clerk, the motion was 6-0.
Correct. Motion is 6-0. Councilmember Rist was recused.
Thank you for correcting the record. All right. I'll also entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Downtown Durham Incorporated to operate economic development programs and services in an amount not to exceed $170,048 for fiscal year 2025-2026, subject to City Council budget authorization.
Moved as read.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded.
Mr. Mayor, again, just same issue, recusing it, just to make sure. Yep.
Been moved and properly seconded with the recusal of Councilmember Riss. Madam Clerk, please open the vote. Please close the vote.
Motion passes 6-0 with Councilmember Rist recused.
6, 7, and 8, right?
And Mr. Mayor, the same issue with the single item on GBA, I'll be recusing from that, but I think we can go ahead
Which
and.
item was it? 13.
It's GBA.
Oh, did we pull that?
She had pulled it.
I had pulled it at work session so that I.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So we'll go ahead and do that one now as well. Madam Clerk, I didn't call this out, but this is item number 13 that's on GBA. I'll entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to approve the recommendation for the City of Durham to enter into a contract with Legal Aid of North Carolina to administer the eviction diversion program.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please open the vote. Please close the vote.
The motion passes 6-0 with Councilmember Cook recused.
All right, thank you. And I'll also entertain a motion under the same item to authorize the city manager to approve and execute the contract with Legal Aid of North Carolina in the amount of $725,000 to provide mediation, legal assistance, and tenant landlord education to low, moderate income renters facing eviction for non-payment of rent.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. If you will, please open the vote with the recusal of Councilmember Cook. Please close the vote.
The motion passes 6-0 with Councilmember Cook recused.
Thank you. Oh, it was? I'm sorry. Yikes. Oh, it is. Sorry. And lastly, I'll entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to make sundry changes to the scope of services so long as the total contract amount remains unchanged.
Moved as read. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. We'll entertain a vote with the recusal of Councilmember Cook. Please open the vote. Please close the vote.
The motion passes 6-0 with Councilmember Cook recused.
Thank you. All right. Number 8. Amendment to interlocal agreement. Who put number 8?
There's a resident speaker.
Yeah.
The proponent.
Oh, Alexandria. This is in person. Alexandria Valladares. And if I can have a staff member check in the lobby if we're still dealing with the sound issues out there. Alexandria Valladares. Hey, Middleton, can you see who I don't, just make sure I don't miss anybody online? Folks, there will be some space in between as I'm calling the names, because we have a lot of folks outside as well, so I want to give time to check and make sure. Hey. We're on the item that you pulled, number 8, amendment to interlocal agreement for city-county strategic youth initiatives. Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome. You have 3 minutes. Good.
Thank you. It's good to see you all. And I greet you all, Mayor and City Council. I'm here to talk about a moment of pride I experienced when I heard youth share these words. They were talking about doing phase 1 and phase 2 of a youth mentoring alliance that includes a map and strategic planning and recommendations that they want to be able to shout out far and wide. And actually, this also brought us attention from the New York Mayor's Challenge, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, don't grab it, though.
Okay, don't wrap it up.
She's an artist, so she...
I love Mike, sorry. So, you know,
Yes, the Mayor's Challenge.
We're good? Okay. It included many aspects, and this was led by Youth Mentoring Collaborative. This was led in collaboration with the City of Durham's Office on Youth. And so what they were sharing is talking about the character and diversity of Durham, these young people who were invited to present in Minneapolis about this work. They talked about the history of Durham, having come from recent times of segregation and racial discrimination. If you look at the timeline, it's recent. One thing that Durham will always have is a sense of community and pride to uplift each other, whether through grassroots efforts or organized movements. Change will be made, said the youth. It is under this sense of community that the Youth Mentoring Alliance was formed. Youth Mentoring Collaborative's mission is to increase the number of youth in identity-affirming mentoring relationships while working to dismantle the systemic barriers that youth and their families face every day. The Alliance organized several mentoring organizations in our local area, including the Boost Program, which is, I represent the Boost Program. It's one of many organizations. And I'll talk a little bit about what this looks like in terms of mentoring. We actually had YMC in our trainings for our team meetings, our scientists are learning what it's like to be a mentor, to not just do the science in the hospital, not just become the doctors and the providers, but also learn about their own leadership and really hone in on the mentorship that is so needed and valuable. These convenings, maybe some of you participated. We've had some at Reed City, and I know that, Gregory, I want to shout you out publicly because you have been such an ally, you and the team that is over there that hangs out at Reed City. But to go back to the youth, they said, during phase 2, we held several community conversations to share our findings, the asset map, a whole map that you can put your zip code in, and it tells you where you can find resources, mentorship resources, so no child feels like they don't have a community or an organization that they can come to. And also, this is about creating more capacity, building capacity to make an impact, and more youth finding and maintaining high quality mentoring as they navigate their lives. The word from the youth continue. They go into that there are problems that cannot be solved in a couple of efforts. This change needs to be imagined, ingrained within our culture with the community as the backbone. Is my time up? Well, I want you all to check out this work. I'm going to post that video. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much. All right. That was number 8. So we just have 7 and 6, right?
You need to approve item 8.
All right, colleagues, that was item number 8. I'll now entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to execute the amended interlocal agreement with Durham County for city-county strategic youth initiatives.
So, second.
Madam Clerk, it's been moved and properly seconded. Please open the vote. Please close the vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. And as stated, there is a lot of work that's been done in that space, and we're going to keep at it. All right. I pulled item number 7, simply not to go into detail, but to just state, one thing I adore and appreciate about this council is we have our ears to the ground a lot, and we are constantly listening and engaging with our community members. I made some comments about this item that I just wanted to sort of reiterate. I did hear where some of my comments were taken out of context, and I wanted to make sure that I clearly state. We are dealing with an entire agency that has been grossly underfunded by the federal government. So not only are we dealing with cuts, we're also dealing with underfunding. And it has been generations over generations over generations where our public housing properties have been dilapidated. And it's not like, we have folks at different income levels across this entire community. And oftentimes, this is not like you're in some wealthy neighborhood. So you're not going to have high rents, you're not going to have high payments. And I also want to shout out DHA because during the pandemic, they stopped collecting rent. And they did not evict people. And for whatever folks have to say about it, I appreciate, and yeah, we're feeling the pain from it now, but I appreciate the choices that were made back then. But I also know that that won't be able to remain. And I also know that they're in a crisis. The organization is in a crisis. And there has been, we have this agreement here where we are stepping up because, yes, the federal government may own the agency, but these are Durham residents. And any day and any time, we need to step up and make sure that we do whatever we can to support the residents of Durham, then we should. And that's what I'm behind. That being said, we're not going to just close a blind eye to it. So, yes, this is a request for support, and we're going to step up and do it. The conditions are that the agency has to make sure they do everything they possibly can to make sure that they stay functioning. There have been rents that have not been paid since the pandemic, and there is an actual waiting list of over 6,000 people. And there are a lot of issues here, from the living conditions to the actual agency being able to function. This is not a point the finger situation. This is a really jacked up situation. And I'm not going to let the behavior and the funding cuts of the federal government have us fighting here at the ground level in Durham. So for the folks that are here, so for those that like to say, this council member said this, the mayor said that, cut it out. We're not going to fight at the local level. Look at the whole picture and see the situation that we're in. So please, let's keep our eyes on our residents. Let's continue to be creative when it comes to policy to make sure that we're creating opportunities for people to take advantage of. So when I say enable, I'm not going to enable a government institution to continue to do this. I want to make sure we step up and step in where we can, but we all have to do our parts, from the residents to the agency to the government, period. And there's nothing controversial about that. So for you little thumb warriors online on Reddit and Twitter and Facebook, I see you. Please cut it out. That's why I pulled the item. Those are my comments. Now I entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to execute the amended interlocal agreement between Durham County and city, no, that's the wrong one. I'm worked up. It's just like people just want to find something to fight each other about. Jesus Christ. All right, the appropriate one. I'll entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to issue a conditional binding commitment of a loan assistance in an amount up to $1.5 million to the Durham Housing Authority.
Moved as read.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please open the doggone vote. Please close the vote.
Item 7 passes unanimously.
Thank you. I'll also entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents and instruments required to fulfill the purpose and intent of this commitment.
Moved as read.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Please open the vote. Please close the vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
And lastly, I'll entertain a motion to authorize the city manager the authority to make necessary and appropriate changes to the commitment, so long as such changes do not increase the financial obligations of the city and, taken as a whole, remain favorable to the city's interests.
Moved as read.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please open the vote. Please close the vote.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you so much. All right. The moment we're all here for. Not really, but while we're really here. Number 6 has been, where's my paper? 2. All right, item number 6. Fiscal year 2025-2026 budget and 2026-2031 capital improvement plan, CIP ordinance, and other related ordinances. This has been pulled by 2 residents, Charlita Burrs and Karen Abram Jones. Ms. Burrs, welcome.
Hello to the mayor and to city council and to everyone. How y'all doing tonight? Oh, I heard 2 or 3 people. Okay. All right. Well, I didn't introduce myself, and the reason I'm here tonight, I'm just going to talk on the behalf of the residents who are tired of being ignored. This had nothing to do with the $1.5 million that was just approved for DHA. There were some questions that came to me about how did they owe Duke Energy $5 million? Where's the accountability? So being that this money has been given to them, I hope and pray that y'all can hold them accountable for every dime that's being spent. If this money is approved, residents deserve to know which properties will benefit. Transparency is a must. DHA has a long, poor track record with vendors and maintenance. The history cannot be ignored. 5 properties, Edgemont Elms, Golden Point, Price Steel, Daymar Court, and Maureen Road, have no property managers or assistants. 2 people cannot do the job of 10, especially with untrained assistants. During the pandemic, staff worked from home where residents fell behind. ERAP funds paid thousands up to $18,000 for some households. Where did that support go? Maintenance requests go unanswered. Sometimes workers show up and asking to borrow tools, and that is unacceptable. Many residents do not report issues out of fear or afraid they will be punished for speaking up, especially if they owe rent. Some residents are living in unsafe, mold-filled units. Their health is suffering because of inaction. Price Steel and other senior heavy properties have no air conditioning. You can drive by the properties and see window units for yourself. Basic upkeep is neglected. Lawn care, pressure washing, and roof repairs are overdue. Some residents may owe rent, but may fall behind due to no fault of their own. With utility bills and inflation, they cannot catch up. Their rent slate should be wiped clean, no threats, no shame. When help was needed, calls went unanswered. DHA says it has no money and blames HUD, but that excuse is old. Durham has wasted millions on organizations with no clear results. We are not asking for handouts. We are asking for DHA to do their job and for the city to finally listen. People are suffering in silence. Mental health services are hard to assess, and many are denied. We need a hand up, not a handout. It is time to invest in residents, teach, uplift, and help people move forward. If you forget what that feels like, look in the mirror. Ask yourself, when somebody gave you a chance? And I'm gonna say thank you, Deidreana, for coming to the spring fling we had on Saturday. It was a big success. Hope in the future that y'all have time to come and look at East Durham. All shooting ain't happen over there. Somebody's still holding it down.
All right, Karen Abram-Jones. Okay. Thank you. All right, colleagues, I did say we could reserve any budgetary comments, if there are any. If not, we could just go ahead and pass it and make it historic, you know. All right, good. Do you have any comments?
This is our time for budget comments.
I want to allot a little time for colleagues to make any commentary on the budget if needed, and we'll go ahead.
I'm going to be very short. I just want to say congratulations to Manager Ferguson on your first budget. I think you've done a good job balancing a lot of requests, and I know that everyone up here always wants more out of the budget, and also money doesn't grow on trees. And I also want to acknowledge that we are increasing taxes, and this is the second year in a row that we will be increasing taxes. Again, I want to remind people that you got a revaluation this year if you own property. The increase in taxes does not go proportionally with the increase in the valuation of your property. I know that we've said this a lot of times, but I'm still hearing folks from the community that are not understanding the increase in taxes. You might or might not, most likely will be paying slightly more money, but it is not going to rise proportionally with the valuation increase. That being said, I don't want to discount how serious it is to raise taxes. We know the county has raised taxes 3 years in a row, and this is really serious. If you live in Durham and you're on a fixed income, or you work a regular job, because we're not, let's be real, we're not saying incomes increase at the rate that we're seeing the price of housing increase. So I just want to remind folks that we do have resources available. I know that that is not the same as not raising taxes, but I do want to draw folks' attention to the fact that Our minimum living wage is finally increasing with these pandemic increases. So we're seeing a huge jump there, and we are committed to paying our employees in the city of Durham a minimum living wage to ensure that they can afford to live in the city that they serve. There's some other amazing programs that the city provides, and I also think that we really looked hard at places that we did not have to expand this year because we were worried about increasing taxes at this time. So I just want to acknowledge that it's a balance, and these are hard choices that we're making up here, and thank folks that have come forward with questions about their tax rates. Please continue to spread the word about the resources that we have for folks. We have specific resources for folks who are under certain income levels, and we also have specific resources for folks who are of certain age brackets. So do go online. The county has a great tool that allows you to sort of input your information and see what resources will work best for your household. So please continue to pass the word along, and again, congratulations to the manager for your first budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Baker.
Thank you for those comments. This is a really big deal. We only have a few tools at our disposal at the local level, and so many constraints, even in the way that we raise money. Property tax is not a great way to raise money. Sales tax is not a great way to raise money, and these are the primary tools that we have for raising the revenue for the services that are provided to the people and the residents of Durham. Meanwhile, I mean, we've talked about it all night, but just the defunding and chronic underfunding of so many necessary programs and services that we need to hold the line on, and that's a tough thing to do. And I want to emphasize something that Councilmember Cook raised, which is the low-income homeowners relief program that is administered by the county and paid into by the city. If you are worried about your property tax, of course, this is a revaluation year. That means that property evaluations have gone up over 70% since 2019. If you are concerned, or if you know someone else who is concerned, please go and look up the Low-Income Homeowners Relief Program and see if you qualify. And I want to hear from you. If you're worried and you don't qualify, I want to hear from you, because I think that that's a very necessary program that we need to implement well. There are some good things in the budget. I just want to highlight a few of them. As Councilmember Cook pointed out, the increase in worker wages. This is we have the Durham minimum livable wage, which applies to city workers for the city of Durham. It is going to increase almost twice as much as any past increase in worker wages since that ordinance was adopted. So that is a commitment to the city workers. Part of the reason why we're seeing that now is because the definition for the Durham minimum livable wage is based on the last 4 years of rent. 4 years ago is when rents really started skyrocketing, and so now we are starting to see a more rapid rise in the minimum livable wage. We're also increasing part-time worker wages, which is important. One thing that I think is so incredibly important is that Durham is keeping buses fare-free for another year, and I hope that we continue to do that. That is so important. Go Raleigh, reinstated fares. Go Triangle, reinstated fares. Over 80% of Go Durham riders are low income. It avoids wasteful spending on fare collection. It reduces time that you spend on the bus because it has to stop and slow down while people pay. It reduces conflicts between riders and drivers who have to worry about fare collection. There are so many reasons why it is a good investment to keep buses fare free, but that is not free when it comes to property tax and the sales tax revenue that we take in. We are also building public works and emergency operations centers, trails, stormwater restoration projects, fire and EMS station, investing another $7 million in park cleanup to add to the $5 million from last year in the CIP, adding to $12 million. And making many other needed improvements to city assets. And one last thing I'll just mention that I'm excited about, that's not a major budgetary line item this year, but is going to be an emphasis, I think, moving forward. is an emphasis on homelessness services and better coordination of the many, many different people who are working so hard and on the front lines. As we see unhoused populations grow across the country, Durham is not immune to that. We're breaking records every day. The highest growth in unhoused residents are families with children. Again, Durham is not immune to that, and we need to make sure that that's a priority as we move forward. And I'm happy to say that in our conversations with the city manager, we're doing a whole city restructuring and dedicating more time, money, and emphasis on that important topic. So those are my comments. I'm pleased to be voting in favor of the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Caballero.
Thank you. I'm really excited about this budget. I do want to thank Manager Ferguson for an excellent first budget, and to all budget and finance staff. I know this is your very, very busy time of year, and you put up with a lot of council requests, changes, and just staff in general really threading the needle about what you hear from us and what we need as a community and what our staff needs. So thank you to all city staff for yet another really incredible budget. This is my 8th city budget. It never gets easier. I wish in 2018 when I passed my first one, that was actually the easiest one that I ever passed, and they just get harder because the challenges of our city just get bigger. I'm really proud that we kept our buses fare free. I'm really proud that we have the incredible CIP that we have this year. There's additional funds in that fund. I do also want to remind city residents that while we are increasing your taxes, a portion of that is because you said, yes, please raise my taxes when you voted for the bond in November. And remember, that bond is for sidewalks, street improvements, and 3 incredible parks. So part of that increase is taking into account that vote back in November. It's not just additional projects that we added during budget season. We do a lot in this city. There's a lot of really incredible work in that budget. I always say that Durham punches above its weight. We are the envy of many, many cities with infinitely larger resources than us because we do a really good job, and staff does a really good job being laser focused on delivery to the best of our ability for city residents, and we will continue to do that. While you are seeing your state and federal government failing you on the regular, please know that your local government is trying really hard to meet our needs of this community with a much more constrained pool of resources, right? So thank you again to all staff. Thank you to colleagues. We had a lot of asks and needs and desires with this budget, and I think we landed in a pretty incredible place.
Thank you. Councilmember Freeman.
Thank you. I had no plans to really talk about it, but since we are, I want to appreciate my colleagues pointing out so many great things in the budget. I will just say, I do want to point out that we are, because of the bond and the work that we've been doing over the last, I think this is also my 8th budget, so we have about $963 million in capital improvement projects, and I want to say that over $100 million of those are in historically underserved and unserved communities, and I know what that carries with it. And I do want to appreciate the opportunity to point out that $12 million for park remediation, especially around the lead, will not be enough. And so we're going to have to really dig deep to try to figure out what that's going to look like to do it well in the next budget. And I'll leave it at that. I'll also thank staff. I think this, first and foremost, thanking our new city manager, knowing that this is your first, pass at it, and I think you had a great process around it that made it more, or say less contentious and more effective. And I really appreciate that, the chance to really create a budget ordinance that I could support fully before we got here tonight. And I will just highlight that I really appreciate my colleagues figuring out how to make sure we do cover our part-time staff in a way that's with dignity, just as we do our full-time staff, and just look forward to continuing to keep pushing away at this. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Councilmember Rist.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to echo many of the comments from my colleagues, including Councilmember Freeman, with the kudos to the manager for an amazing budget, for threading the needle and in hearing what we've been saying, what the community's been saying, and how staff has been managing all the needs we have. So kudos on that. Well, this is an historic budget. We've now crossed the 700 million mark for our budget for the first time. So we are growing in big city, and I'm proud of that. As my colleague said, fare free buses, yes, is a critical feature of this budget. Expanding the HEART team, yes, another critical feature. Keeping city worker pay at market, yes, another important investment. Also, the continued design of the conversion of the one-way pairs, Duke and Gregson and Roxborough-Mangum, two of our most dangerous corridors. Without doing that work, we will not reach our Vision Zero goals. So again, thanks to the manager and staff for including that in the CIP. $7 million more for lead remediation in parks, all great stuff that I support enthusiastically. As Councilmember Caballero said, about half the increase is due to the maybe not historic, but the large bond issue we passed last fall, $200 million for streets, sidewalks, and parks. So that's about half the increase that we're looking at in total. So all great stuff I will enthusiastically support. I do want to also echo the comments that Councilmember Cook and Councilmember Baker said. We are the only community in North Carolina that provides the kind of low-income homeowner relief that we offer in a partnership with the county. We invest $500,000 in that. The county invests $750,000 every year. We recognize that property taxes are mildly regressive. That means families with lower incomes pay as a percentage-wise a little more than families with higher incomes, right? So it's mildly regressive. This is one way we can provide direct relief to families so that if we have to raise taxes, it's not going to burden our lower income families the most. So I'm really proud of that low-income homeowner relief. I'm proud of that partnership with the county, and I look forward to continuing to support that program here at the City Council level. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Your Honor, and to my colleagues for your great remarks and opining on this budget. This is a historic night. As Councilmember Riss has pointed out, we are prepared to cross the $700 million threshold. We will be a $1 billion budget city sooner rather than later. So I want to congratulate Durham for being such a desirable place to live and relocate businesses and to work and play and retire. Obviously, we have some more work to do. With that said, Mr. Manager, there are worse ways you could have made a splash on your first budget. This is a remarkable achievement. We should note that not only is this budget historic, there's a significant restructuring of our org chart going on as well that this manager is initiating, and I encourage all Durham residents and neighbors to tap in and look at our website and look at how our org chart will change to increase efficiencies, to better utilize talent in our organization. It should be said that if you're not kind of a wonk or a nerd for government, you may not know this, but Durham is continually lauded and heralded as one of the best run cities in this country by folk who have no dog in the fight. We don't pay them. And this staff is constantly headhunted. Our managers and directors are constantly sought to go other places. They've assembled an incredible team here in Durham, and we're very fortunate to have them working on our behalf. Sometimes the work isn't heralded, it doesn't make headlines, but they really are at the top of their industry, and they are the best at their craft, and I want to congratulate you, Mr. Manager, and your entire team for presenting such a wonderful budget. This budget, you should know, many municipalities will look at Durham's budget as a test budget because we do not demur from our values in this budget. This budget is laying down the gauntlet in many ways. We are continuing funding boldly our values, whether it's eviction diversion, whether it's immigrant defense, whether it's guaranteed income. It's in this budget. It's public now, so we will see how those things play out down the road. But this budget boldly says that we will continue to be Durham. We will continue to uphold our values, not just in word, but we're going to put our money literally where our mouths are. This budget extends the HEART, expands the HEART footprint, and let us be clear, the HEART program is inexorably on a trajectory towards 24/7. It will be 24/7. I want to congratulate our Community Safety Department for bringing us the data and bringing us a data-based recommendation to expand HEART during a time where we're getting the most calls so we can respond to more of those calls. So there's a significant increase in the HEART footprint in this budget. Our living wage has been increasing. My colleagues have already eloquently spoken to that. Fare free buses. Durham, like all great cities throughout history, there's a threshold we're going to have to cross in order to be a truly great metropolis. And that threshold is we're going to have to be able to navigate and negotiate our city without a car. Education, cultural, entertainment, economic. The true mark of a great city is when you can navigate it and access it without a car. And we can all help with that. I want to challenge everybody listening tonight, if you don't, to try riding our buses. Shout out to my riders on the number 2 line. Ride our buses. Now, it may take some planning because we know route expansion is important. You may have to plan where you're going to catch the bus. You may have to add some extra time to get to the mall. But I want to encourage every Durham resident because, one, it'll destigmatize what folk think about our public transportation. It'll make the case also for continuing to expand it and make it accessible to folk. And it's free. Moreover, our buses are clean and they have Wi-Fi on them, so you can get your work done while somebody else drives. So I'm very proud that this budget maintains fare-free buses and maintains our values. I'm eager about casting a yes vote. And finally, I'm going to take a point of personal privilege. The way you guys find out about cool stuff going on in our city, because we have an excellent communications department. And Beverly Thompson, I tried to get my colleagues to vote not to accept your retirement and add it as a rider to this budget. But I think the winds are against me. Thank you so much for all the role you've played in communicating our wins and our challenges with integrity and honesty to the people of the city. May God bless you in your retirement. May your next chapter be your greatest chapter. Thank you so much for your service to the city. I look forward to passing this budget, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, colleagues.
Well, thank you. Thank you all. I am not going to run down everything my colleagues did. I can either repost Councilmember Baker's Instagram post, or you could just go back and replay. See, I'll be listening. You did a good job of like naming everything. I was like, okay, I don't need to name it. He just did it. Or you can just go back and replay this. But just in my generation, where I grew up and how I grew up culturally, when we saw something really cool, we would say, dang, that's dope. That's dope. And I just grew up that way, And when I look at this, all of the things that we have going on in this budget, I just sit back, and while there are more things I want in it. There are some things that I don't see in it that I would like in it. But we're working toward making sure those things can have a space in our budget. But overall, when I look at this budget, I'm like, dang, Durham is dope. Durham is actually dope. And that's why I say it. I think about it. We're spending $45 million at the federal level to watch a parade go by while people are struggling and can't make their rent. Literally, like, dying in the streets due to health illnesses that could be cured. But we're doing parades. But in Durham, we're finding a way, with our limited resources, to give a dang about our neighbor. That's dope to me. Getting to and from work or getting to and from across our city should not be a barrier. At the very foundational, at the very least, we have an option for you to get to and from point A to point B, and you don't have to even pay. Our buses are free. That's dope. And Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, we have outlets on the bus too. You missed that part.
Carry a full charge.
It's just, and this, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of contention, contentious, conversations happening around this budget. There are some things that I personally just think that, I want to see more specific targeted funding toward youth gun violence, but it is a comprehensive thing. And I want to credit my colleagues for saying, Mayor, when we get the whole package, we're going to support it. And so marching orders noted, and that's what we'll work on. I'm 6'5", that's how tall I am. And if I stand in a 5-foot pool of water. If the water is the taxes and we just keep pouring everything in there, the water is going to get higher and higher and higher, but I'm not going to get any taller. And taxes are going to continue to raise, so we have to diversify how we generate revenue. So when you hear me talk about getting more commercial spaces downtown, more retail, a convention center, more hotels, a grocery store. The reason why I'm talking about those things is we have to generate more revenue, diversify our revenue sources so that we don't have to keep the water rising up. Because some people are not going to be able to go into the workforce. And they own their home. They've done their life's work. So nice things are expensive. So if we can, as I think it's Councilmember Cook, if we can do this balancing act better, I think we can get there. So we have to grow in multiple ways and simultaneously. I'm so sick and tired of Cary and Raleigh talking about their nice parks. I want nice parks. And I don't want just a new park. I want a nice park. And those things are expensive. So we need to diversify our revenue sources. We have Durham Next now that will be focusing on assets and getting things done. We have Discover Durham that will market things. We have DDI that's going to manage downtown. And hopefully we'll get some more bid districts online in the future. So we still have a long ways to go, but folks, we are doing an amazing job so far, all right? And we are growing, and I think we're mitigating this growth as best as we can with the federal government and the state government behaving the way that they do. All right, so I'm grateful for where we are, Mr. Manager. I'm grateful for this budget, and I really appreciate your approach to it and the prioritization process. And I'm grateful for all the engagement. Just not long ago, folks, there was like 300 people in here. We were screaming into 2 in the morning, and that exudes the passion that we have in Durham. But I think that as we learn how to better communicate with one another and try to listen and the give and take of it, this is how it looks. This is how it turns out. So I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for this council. Mr. Manager, I'm grateful for you and your team, especially the budget team. Director Reardon, your team, thank you all so much. We are in a good space. We're in a good space, and I think we're well prepared for what's to come. And so I'm happy. And Director Thompson and all of our staff that are retiring this year, Director Johnson and the others who've retired, really grateful for your service. And thanks for, just making Durham so strong. Durham is dope. Durham is dope. All right. So with that being said, there are a lot of parts to this budget. So what I am going to say is I will entertain a motion to pass the fiscal year, to accept the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget and 2026-2031 capital improvement plan CIP ordinance and other related ordinance as printed in the public agenda of all sections.
Move this printed.
Second.
And moved and properly seconded by the entire council. Madam Clerk, please open the vote. Please close the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
All right, that's what we work up the entire year for, that moment right there. With that being said, colleagues, I am going to have us recess and return back at 9:05.
Congrats, Christina. Thank you.
The Durham City Council meetings and Planning Commission meetings are now available to live stream on all devices via the City of Durham social media accounts. To watch, simply go to City of Durham NC on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Devices include phones, tablets, laptops, desktops, streaming boxes and sticks, and smart TVs. The easiest way to view the live stream on smart TVs and streaming devices, such as the Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV, is via the YouTube app. Now you can follow along with the latest developments in the Durham community at dinner, your kids' game, the mall, in bed, during a breather, in the bathtub, and even on the International Space Station.
Here's some tips to ensure that your garbage and recycling gets picked up. 1. Your cart should be put out for collection before 6 a.m. on your collection day. 2. Your cart should be at least 3 feet from all other objects such as mailboxes, telephone poles, fire hydrants, trees, and other carts. 3. Your cart should be no more than 3 feet from the curb. 4. No vehicles should be blocking your carts. The mechanical arms on our trucks need direct access to your carts and cannot reach around vehicles. To find more information about garbage and recycling pickups, go to this web address.
Everyone in Durham should be able to find a home they can afford. That's why Forever Home Durham is creating affordable, livable, and inclusive communities for low to middle income residents. From renting to owning, find out how the city is helping more people find homes right here in Durham. Learn more at foreverhomedurham.com.
Owning a home provides a sense of financial stability, family, community, and pride. But housing prices are now higher than ever, making it hard for many Durham residents to afford their first home. That's why the City of Durham is offering the Down Payment Assistance Program to support eligible individuals with up to $80,000 in 0% interest forgivable loans to purchase a house within the city limits. Visit this site or call to find out if you qualify for the program.
All right. All right, at this time, we will resume our meeting. And this is item number 39, zoning map change, Methodist Street townhouses. We'll now hear the staff report.
Hello, Mayor Williams, Mayor Pro Tem Middleton, and honorable council members. Good evening. I am Peyton Burgess with the Planning Department, and I am happy to be here with you tonight. Before I begin, staff would like to state for the record that all Planning Department hearing items have been advertised and noticed in accordance with state and local law, and affidavits of all notices are on file in the Planning Department. A request for a rezoning map change has been received from Vince DeFreitas of Silver Developers, LLC for 2 parcels of land totaling 1.19 acres and located at 2403 and 2405 South Miami Boulevard. The current zoning is commercial neighborhood. The applicant proposes to change this designation to Planned Development Residential 15.126 with a textual development plan. The applicant is proposing to rezone the properties to allow up to 18 townhouses. The properties are currently designated neighborhood services on the place type map. The proposed PDR 15.126 zoning is generally inconsistent with the designated place type. If the proposed zoning is approved, staff recommends a change to the place type map to designate the property as apartment and townhouse neighborhood. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available for any questions.
Thank you. You've heard the staff report. Are there any questions or comments, technical comments to the staff? If not, I'll now declare this public hearing open. Is there an applicant?
Good evening. My name is Vince DeFreitas with Silver Developers. I'm the
Welcome. How much time do you think you need?
I'm sorry.
How much time do you need?
I'm just going to give a quick introduction and here to answer any questions. That's all.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm here. I'm the applicant and here to answer any questions about the Methodist Street project. Thanks.
All right. I don't have any signups. So at this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed and back before the council. Colleagues, are there any questions?
Good evening. So just a few to follow up on some things. The first one is that you had said at the Planning Commission that you were going to look into, again, the option of proffering a bus pad or shelter along the east side of South Miami Boulevard. That was a request that came from staff. Did y'all have any further conversation about that?
I have not any further conversation with staff, but we did, at that meeting, we declined the bus shelter to be part of the project, but we did agree to native plantings to be added.
Yes, I saw the native plantings. So I'm just going to ask again, are you willing to proffer, because you said that you would go back and have a conversation again about whether or not it might be affordable in your project. So I'm just going to ask again, we've got another zoning request that's coming next that's a smaller development, and they are offering a bus pad and a few other things as well. So did y'all have a conversation about whether that would be affordable?
We did, and with only 15 units, we felt it would not be affordable for us to do.
There's no affordable housing in your project as offered at this time. I know that this is a small number of housing again, and so potentially it's a little bit difficult to designate any housing as affordable. I think you stated that at the Planning Commission as well. But are you able to make a comparable one-time donation to the Affordable Housing Fund in the amount of, say, $20,000 or something like this to offset some of the costs for not having any affordable housing in your project?
I mean, I'd have to discuss that with the owner. I'm his representative here tonight, but I'm not in a position to make financial commitments without discussing with him first.
Are you not able to make any commitments tonight without him being here?
He is here, but
He is here.
yeah, we weren't prepared to discuss it, financial commitments at this time.
Well, that would be of interest to me if y'all had wanted to have that conversation. We're generally seeing about 5% of units coming forward now with actual affordability as defined. And I know that you've stated that the townhouses might be more affordable just because of their structure, but we're talking about the actual AMI, 80% AMI for 30 years affordability. So we've been seeing 5% or so, which would, for your project would be 1 unit. So I'd be interested in hearing your response to that, and also a potential donation to the Durham Public Schools as well. And those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, I want to make sure I remind us to be very careful with our compelling. I understand you were pushing it, trying to get some things, but I just want us to be very careful on how close we get to soliciting proffers.
Okay, I'll just be really clear. I'm just asking if it's possible for you to potentially put some money towards the dedicated housing fund, suggesting it as something that does come in front of us with other projects. And since your since your owner is here, if you would be willing to have a conversation about that, this is just a polite request that maybe one could think about it.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other colleagues?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say I have the same concerns with Councilmember Cook.
Thank you. We always appreciate when infill opportunities come before us. You got a positive vote from the Planning Commission. I think it was unanimous. I do have a couple of questions. Can you give us a sense of materials, what type of garages, no garages, what type of square footage are we talking about? And based upon it's not a perfect science, but what do you anticipate price points being for these townhomes?
So at this point, all we've done is a textual zoning change commitment. We haven't gotten that far in the design process yet in terms of materials, square footage, pricing. That will all happen, of course, but we're taking it in steps. So we wanted to make sure that we got the rezoning approved first, which hopefully we will tonight. And then we'll move on to phase 2, which is site design and the size of the units and pricing. Yeah.
Tell me about Silver. Are you in Raleigh? You folk are local, right?
Cary, yeah.
How large is the LLC in terms of roughly how large? Are you a multi-billion-dollar, multi-million-dollar, multinational? Or tell me about you.
Not in the billions, but we've built over 100 homes in the Triangle area. We're a $5 million gross company a year revenue.
Okay. And you said you're headquartered in Raleigh?
Cary.
Cary, okay.
All right, yeah, obviously, our values around affordable housing are well-known as a city. You did, however, manage to get a yes from the Planning Commission. My suspicion is because this is the type of infill development we're looking at, trying to keep fidelity with our urban growth boundary. But I'm going to listen, though, to some more of my colleagues as well on this project. I am grateful for infill development projects, and this does seem consistent with the trajectory of the area. But I'm going to go listen some more. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments? Go ahead.
Just a question. You mentioned that you hadn't selected materials or done a design, but you know that you can't afford to do a pad. How does that work?
Well, anytime you have a project that's this small in number of units, of 15 units, we know we're not going to have additional budget to do those things, to stay competitive with other homes and new construction in the area. I know what those homes market for and what we can build them for. So, that's how we.
Can you say what they market for?
Price-wise, probably in the $400,000 to $600,000 range.
400 to 600.
400 to 600.
And cost-wise, that would to build?
Less than that. Of course, we're in business to make money.
Okay. And you mentioned that the owner is here.
Yes, yeah.
Are they going to step up to the mic or?
They can if you
That
like
would be
them
great.
to. Yeah, Mr. Singh.
Mr. Singh,
Hello, everyone.
Welcome. And I understand that you're the owner of this property, and you're looking at doing 15 townhomes at 400,000 to 600,000 apiece?
Yes, ma'am.
And you haven't quite figured out what materials you'll be using, but there's no conversation about whether or not the pad, funding for DPS, or affordable units could be included.
This is actually, my first experience in my life, and Mr. Silverdolf is going to help.
speaking to that mic.
Yeah, this is my first experience to build this project, so he's gonna help me to design and other things. Then we know what we're gonna put it in there. We can try to put best we can do.
Okay. And so you're relying on his judgment around that, is what I'm hearing you say?
Yes, ma'am, because it's my first project.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And I can donate $5,000 for your school. That's I can afford.
You can do 5,000 for the schools, is what I heard.
Right.
Okay.
That's we can respect as
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other colleagues?
Sorry, was that an official proffer for $5,000 to
Yes.
Durham Public Schools?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to make sure.
Councilmember.
And so just coming back, remind me of your name again, I'm sorry.
Vince.
Vince. So Vince, he's relying on your judgment around these costs, and have you done a project in Durham before? I heard Councilmember Cook say you have another one coming.
Yeah, I've done a few smaller ones in Durham, yeah.
So you're familiar with how we've had proffers for affordable housing and schools and possibly like bus pads, but you don't think that should be included in this project?
Yeah, so sorry to clarify, I've done some single-family homes in Durham. I have not done multi-unit project where we've had to come before the council in this process. So, yeah, first time in Durham doing that.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. I appreciate the proffer, and I just want to remind my colleagues, A, proffers are voluntary. B, there have been, trying to think, we've had a few cases where we've had 50 to 80 units that have offered some substantial, larger amounts to our affordable housing fund. I honestly can't think of one that was under 20 units. If we're going to say we want smaller builders that are doing infill projects, those people don't have the funds. They just don't. It's a huge risk for a first-time person to probably put maybe money that they saved in retirement or something to do something like this. And we have to create an ecosystem because the other option is then it is the large Pulte homes, right? So the Pulte homes can offer a lot. They have a lot of money. They have a national reach. They have a lot more experience with the entitlement process. I appreciate the applicant sharing that he's only done by right development, which is a completely different process than coming before council to do a rezoning. And so we as council members have to offer a little bit of grace when we have these opportunities, when we have somebody, well, maybe not in Durham, they're 20 minutes down the road in Cary, wanting to do small infill projects. These are, we need to encourage entrepreneurship at all levels. If we're going to do the commitment of shared economic prosperity, that means lots of different kinds of people risking probably a lot of savings and doing this kind of work. And that means that we're going to have to offer a little bit of grace and a little bit of forgiveness that they didn't get it just so their first time approaching us, and that they may not have the means to do it. That does not mean that they are bad people. That does not mean that we should be surly with them. We should create an ecosystem that we want these kinds of folks to build in Durham. We should not be turning our noses up to them. Thank you.
I just want to be really clear that my intent was not to be surly or to turn my nose up at y'all. I know that you were asked these questions at the Planning Commission, and so, and we do have a small development coming up. Is not this developer, so my apologies if that was unclear, but our literal next zoning proposal is fewer units, also infill, and has proffers. So that was the line of my questions, and I appreciate y'all coming before us. I know that it's not an easy thing to do, and I also think that it is our job to ask y'all hard questions so that we ensure that we all are getting the best project that we can possibly get for Durham. So I do appreciate the infill, and I want to be really clear that I ask questions and it is not a personal attack on anyone here, and I would hate for that to be insinuated otherwise. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it's important that sometimes I like the developer that's coming forward. Sometimes I have some issues, but we always need to stay focused on the comprehensive plan and on achieving the best possible outcome for the people of Durham, and that needs to remain our focus as we're up here. This case, inconsistent with the comprehensive plan, but are there trade-offs that provide a public good to our constituents and to the people of Durham? So I think that is an important consideration for me. I do think this is an important area. The comprehensive plan calls for neighborhood commercial in this area, and so it doesn't mean that I would not consider anything else. It just means that I need to have a good justification for why we need to change our plans to accommodate any particular proposal at any given time. So appreciate everyone's comments thus far.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, colleagues. Very helpful. I said I wanted to listen to my colleagues, and I've listened. I think the Planning Commission got this one right. Mr. Singh, if I might, where are you a resident? Where do you live?
I'm living in Cary.
In Cary? Okay. Are you a developer? Do you have a lot of land or a big, huge?
No, I'm not big. This is my first project, and I do own gas station, Shell gas station on East Main Street. This is my prime business in downtown. My Main Street and 54, the Shell gas station, Bull City Grab and Go. Okay. This is my only business. I run myself. To this project, I bought this land a couple of years ago to have just to build something. Right. We live on retired life.
I think not only in letter, but in spirit as well, part of what the comprehensive plan compels us to do is to look for opportunities to empower folk who we don't want a situation where the only folk that can afford to abide by the comprehensive plan are multinational corporations. That's not at least my understanding of it when I voted for the comprehensive plan, but to also empower local folk. For what it's worth, it's interesting because I have sat on this dais and listened to a lot of machinations with much larger developers, got them to proffer offerings to our Affordable Housing Fund school, and folks still voted against it. So you're in good company when it comes to that. But I think the Planning Commission got this right. This is infill development. It's a small project, and I don't mean that in a pejorative sense, but as projects go. And I think having a realistic assessment of the wherewithal and capabilities and the arsenals of multinational, in some cases, billion-dollar corporations relative to smaller developers, I think it's important that we don't accidentally ice those voices out in search of maintaining a comprehensive plan, not ordinance, but plan, which we've already, it could be argued that not approving an infill development that's making all proffers we want, that could be argued that that's out of step with the comprehensive plan as well. So that's why I listen to all voices and try and whittle down my decision. But given the size of this development, given the size of the developer, given the Planning Commission's recommendation, given that it is infill, given that we need the housing, I'm going to go ahead and support this proposal. I think the Planning Commission got this one right. I encourage the council to do the same. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much. My wife and I sell chicken for a living. The reason why I'm talking about that is I have to make payroll every 2 weeks. But some people look at me as owning a restaurant, and they look at McDonald's, and they think we're the same. And the gray hairs in my beard are not from being mayor. It's from making payroll. I want to thank my colleagues for asking the question, because we got $5,000 tonight that we wouldn't have gotten, so I appreciate that. On the flip side of that, it really resonates with me that I don't want to set the tone to discourage developers like yourself. And I know that there's a connotation with, when you say the word developer, oh, there's some rich old guy who's just trying to make money on the backs of black and brown people. That's what I usually hear. So I appreciate you taking a chance of going into this field to provide housing that someone in this city can take advantage of. It does get a little frustrating, I will say, that the city we don't go out and build housing. We rely on folks like you to come in here as an applicant, and we try and squeeze the orange as much as we can, but it's you all who are building it. And it's almost like the whole police thing, like defund the police, but we need to call them when we have an emergency. It's like, we hate developers, but we need housing. So I just really appreciate you. No, it's not consistent with the comprehensive plan, but the comprehensive plan is a guiding document. It's a guiding document. So thank you for providing the infill. This is something we said we need, something that we want, and I just really appreciate the commitment to it. Thank you for taking the risk.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I will be supporting this.
Thank you.
All right. Without any more comments. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say very clearly, I'm not sure where the hate for developer comments are coming from, but I do want to be very clear. Following up on Planning Commission questions and asking developers for proffers we normally receive is not in any way, shape, or form any different than any case. And I just want to make sure that as a council, we're not spewing negativity out that's not here, since we were trying to stay positive and in light of the comments we made about the way we talk. So just try to think more positively about the line.
Oh, I'm always positive.
Thank you.
Councilmember Freeman, thank you for your smile too. No, I'm just speaking historically. Yep, I'm gonna leave it in the atmosphere. We're gonna speak positivity tonight as we speak truth. So thank you for what you're doing. With that being said, I will now entertain a motion to conduct a public hearing to receive comments and consider the following motions. To adopt an ordinance to adopt an ordinance amending the Unified Development Ordinance by taking property out of commercial neighborhood and establishing the same as planned development residential 15.126.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please open the vote. Please close the vote.
And the motion passes 6-1 with Councilmember Rist voting no.
Thank you. I'll now also entertain a motion to adopt the consistency statement as required by North Carolina General Statute, Section 160D-605.
Move to adopt consistency.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please open the vote. Please close the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Good job. And, go get some property and come and do it again. Good developer. All right. Item number 40, zoning map change 1606 and 1608 East Cornwallis Road. Ready for the staff report.
Mayor Williams, Mayor Pro Tem Middleton, and honorable council members, good evening. I'm Peyton Burgess with the Planning Department, and I am happy to be here with you tonight. A request for a zoning map change has been received from Pamela Porter of TMTLA for one parcel of land totaling 0.98 acres and located at 1606 and 1608 East Cornwallis Road. The current zoning is residential suburban 20. The applicant proposes to change this designation to Plan Development Residential 10.205. The applicant is proposing to rezone the properties to allow up to 10 townhouse units. The properties are currently designated neighborhood services on the place type map. The proposed PDR 10.205 zoning is generally inconsistent with the designated place type. If the proposed zoning is approved, staff recommends a change to the place type map to designate the property as apartment and townhouse neighborhood. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available for any questions.
Thank you. You've heard the staff report. Any questions or technical comments for staff? All right, at this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. And how much time do you think you need? 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, 5 minutes, please.
I'll be brief. It's been a long meeting.
I hope so, but take your time.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor Williams, Mayor Pro Tem Middleton, members of council. I'm Pam Porter with TMTLA Associates. Thank you, Brooke, for the overview. To recap, we are requesting your approval to rezone the parcels at 1606 and 1608 East Cornwallis Road, which is a parcel just under an acre, from RS20 to PDR 10.205 for the future development of up to 10 townhome units. Excuse me. Some of you who were on council back in 2022 may recall that the previous zoning case for this lot was denied by both Planning Commission and council at that time. At the time, the future land use map called this parcel out as commercial, and the previous zoning case was requesting to rezone from the current RS20 to commercial general. The general consensus at the time was that this parcel may be better suited for residential use due to the location and scale, as well as proximity to residential lot located next door at 1604 East Cornwallis Road. And that neighboring property is a residential lot containing a single-family detached house. And it is worth noting that the house sits about 12 feet from the shared property line, so any commercial development would be impactful in a negative way to the residents of that lot. And after hearing comments from the neighbors, the Planning Commission, and City Council, the owner decided to take a change of direction and a step back and apply for the residential zoning. As noted in the staff presentation, we are not consistent with the place type map, which is currently neighborhood service. And after the commentary of the initial zoning request, it seems this parcel would be better suited to have the apartment and townhome neighborhood place type map designation. We had 2 neighborhood meetings for this, one on May 29th, 2024, and one on March 4th, 2025. And I do want to note that the neighbor who lives at 1604 East Cornwallis Road said at our first neighborhood meeting that he supports this request, and he was previously against the commercial zoning. And then other than a neighbor at the second neighborhood meeting who was asking about traffic impact, which is fairly minimal for 10 units, we were not met with much opposition at all by the neighbors. And I'm going to quickly highlight some of our text commitments. We're committing to a maximum of 10 units, and they will be townhomes. If it's deemed necessary at site plan, the transit stop along the frontage of the site will be upgraded to a Go Durham, Go Triangle standard with a bus pullout and a concrete pad and bus shelter. And at this time, we don't know if the transit stop is staying in front of our frontage or if it's moving. If it's moving, we're not going to build the bus stop because it's not along our frontage, but if it stays, we will commit to that and build the bus stop up to the Go Durham standards. A donation to Durham Public Schools is being proffered for $1,000. A donation to the Dedicated Housing Fund is being proffered for $5,000. And native plantings as defined in the Durham Landscape Manual will be used for all required landscaping. And I do want to point out that the owner of this property is a local Durham resident. He's not an out-of-town developer coming to Durham, developing and leaving. He's got a vested interest in his community. He's been here and he wants to be here and he wants to make this project for his community and do right by the folks of Durham. And we're consistent with the UDO, with the urban growth boundary, and generally consistent with the comprehensive plan. And we did receive unanimous approval at Planning Commission on April 8th. And that's all I've got. And I'm glad you put a little bit extra time on the clock, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you. I don't have any speakers, so at this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed and back before the council. Colleagues? Yep.
I just have one brief question, which is that y'all are not willing to pay for a bus pad or shelter pullout if it's deemed necessary, but just not adjacent to the two parcels, is that right?
So in our conversations during the review of this, we're not sure, or I guess rather Go Durham, is not sure if the bus stop is getting moved. It's likely going to be in front of our property. But if it's moved and it's, we don't know where it's going to move to, we don't know if there's easement acquisition that's needed or any of that stuff, that we didn't feel comfortable committing to something if we don't know where it's going. But if it's along our frontage, then certainly that bus stop will be upgraded to what the current standard is.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. Thanks, Ms. Porter. I love the evolution of this project. I think you've listened to residents, you've flexed this project with your colleagues, with your client. I love the fact that you will do the bus pullout and the concrete pad bus shelter if deemed necessary. I'm a member, as you probably know, of the Bike and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. They all the time provide comments on every project, and I feel like a lot of times no one's listening, so I appreciate you listening to that and offering that if DOT deems that necessary. Also appreciate, I know you're a smaller development, but I appreciate the contribution to DPS and also to the Dedicated Housing Fund, so I will enthusiastically support this project. Thank you.
All right. No other comments? All right, at this time, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt an ordinance amending the Unified Development Ordinance by taking property out of residential suburban 20 and establishing the same as planned development residential 10.205.
Moved as read.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please open the vote. Please close the vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. And lastly, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the consistency statement as required by North Carolina General Statute 160D-605.
Move to adopt consistency.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please open the vote. Please close the vote.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Good developer. Come back again. All right. Item number 41, zoning map change, 401 East Lakewood Avenue. Ready for the staff report.
Mayor Williams, Mayor Pro Tem Middleton, and honorable council members, good evening. I am still Peyton Burgess at the Planning Department, and I am happy to be here with you tonight. Jamie Schwedler of Parker Poe proposes to change the zoning designation of two parcels of land totaling 9.65 acres and located at 401 East Lakewood Avenue and 600 Fayetteville Street. The current zoning is Downtown Design Support 1 and Downtown Design Support 2. The applicant proposes to change this designation to Downtown Design Core through a general rezoning to allow for an increase in building height maximums. The properties are currently designated downtown on the place type map. The proposed Downtown Design Core zoning is consistent with the designated place type. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available for any questions.
Thank you. The applicant. You've heard the staff report. Any technical questions or comments? Yeah,
Thank you.
the applicant can come on up if they're in the room. Go ahead.
One question, which is that at the Planning Commission in April, there were 215 comments on Explorer. Do we have an updated number of those comments, or can you get those through while we're?
I can go check and pull in
That would be
updated,
great.
like in real time right now if you'd like.
That would be great, anytime. Just
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go pull those numbers and have that back for you.
Any other? Yep, go ahead.
Just in general, with the height of 175 feet, I just wanted to know where that number came from in the current designation of the,
It's in the UDO.
but at 175 feet seems pretty specific. What is that based on?
I'm not sure what the context of that number is. I would look to maybe my senior staff members that have been here a little longer than I and have a little more knowledge of where those numbers came from in the UDO to see if they have the origination from that.
I love when you all look back when you don't know how to answer that question. Let me ask them one. Go ahead.
Good evening, Sarah Young with the Planning Department. It's been a very long time since that was developed, so I don't know exactly what the rationale was. As a person who worked on that project, I do know that it was intended to be tiered, the various sub-districts, and so it's a series of the highest core, obviously stepping down a little bit to support 1 and then down to support 2. But that was more than, I think the original was in 2010, so 15 years ago. I would have to dig way back to find out the rationale.
You have a little bit of time right now.
Any other questions for staff or technical comments? Okay. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. How much time do you think you need?
Less than 6 minutes.
Okay. 8 minutes, please.
Good evening, Mayor Williams and members of council. I'm Jamie Schwadler with Parker Poe at 301 Fayetteville Street, here on behalf of the property owners, Sterling Bay and Akram Group. The case that is before you tonight is unlike any other that this council has considered, and that's because it's a general use rezoning seeking the downtown design district core in an area that's been affected by 147 and lots of emotion. But it's also because it's straightforward and in line with all of the applicable planning policies from the comprehensive plan. It's consistent with the place type map in every way, and it's consistent with the guidance that this planning department has put forth for downtown zonings, which is a general use rezoning without a graphic development plan. But it's also unique because it's a major investment in an area that was said tonight has had a series of disinvestments along the way. And you have a developer stepping forward to work with the community to listen to their requests, which we've done over the past 3 years. And we've incorporated many of those requests into our design and to private restrictions that we're willing to place on the land that are separate from the case, but are important. And how do we know they're important? Because we've worked with the community for 3 years, more than any other case that you've considered on this dais. And we've brought forward serious commitments that we're willing to work forward with the community. That's resulting from 50 stakeholder meetings with Hayti leaders and community members over the course of 3 years, 2 years of which we didn't even think we needed a rezoning, and now we do because of the height. We've worked with this community, we understand the concerns, and we've tried to do what we can to alleviate those. And we've appreciated the recent discussions with the community on each of those issues. Even though I stand by all of that work and all of that community engagement and said it's a precedent for what exactly this council has wanted to see from every developer that comes up to the dais, we are willing to continue that work with the community, and if it's the will of the council, to work towards the next council meeting, which I believe is August 4th, and then continue the case and come back then and present what I hope is a final compromise from very narrow issues that have now been presented that we can work towards a better compromise with the community based on those 3 years of engagement. So I'll pause there, and we can seek that continuance if it's the will of the council.
Are you officially asking for a continuance to a date certain of August 4th?
If there's room on the agenda, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Mayor, Aaron Kane with the Planning Department. There can be room on August 4th. Right now, you do have another, we do have planned another case that has significant community interest on that agenda, as well as the Walltown Small Area Plan. We could certainly move the Walltown Small Area Plan to August 18th. We do have 3 cases on August 18th, but we don't expect any of those to garner significant
We have room.
input. We can make room.
Okay, thank you. Colleagues? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think in light of the tremendous amount of energy that's been around this issue from members of our community, we are all aware, we've all spoken about how important that Fayetteville Street corridor is and how important Hayti is. We've said it from this dais, we've said it in interviews, we've said it in back rooms. If we have a developer that's willing to talk longer, and if the community thinks that good can come from talking long, I certainly would support continuing this case to give folk, we've continued cases, I think, for far less compelling reasons from this dais with other developers, so I certainly would be open to having the community, giving the community the opportunity to further their discussions with the developer. I think more talking is better.
I just want to ask how many folks signed up to speak this evening? I'm just acknowledging that, folks took time to be here, and I just want to make sure they do get a chance to say their piece. I just want to make sure they do. Just mindful that, they may not be able to come back out at the next meeting.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I might, that, whenever we continue a case, that's always.
How many?
That's all, yeah, we'll get to
Just asking.
That's always the case for.
How many? 25?
That's always the case when folks sign up for a public hearing. Listen, we want to hear, and the whole purpose, as I understand it, to continue, is for folk to have an opportunity to further engage with this developer. Mr. Mayor, obviously you hold the gavel. I'll certainly listen to folk tonight. I have no problem listening, but that's nothing new when we continue a case. If folk have signed up to speak that night, we continue the case. So I don't want it to create the impression that we're doing anything different now than what we normally do for a continuance. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I understand.
I appreciate this. First of all, I just want to say a huge shout out and thank you to all of the organizing from the community that has resulted in this request for a continuance. It shows that there is serious effort going into this and good faith negotiations on the side of the community, that it can only result in better outcomes. I mean, that point blank, I mean, it can only result in better outcomes. There are so many times when the community is ignored. There's so many times when there's just a yes or no or an up or a down. And what I am seeing and hearing, and I've also been having lots of conversations with folks, is that there is a desire to improve the proposal that's on the table. And so my question is, I want to know a little bit more about what the plan is between now and the August meeting. And I know that there are conversations going on around community benefits. I'm just curious about how you are thinking about codifying those community benefits.
Yes, so I mentioned that we would be, because this is separate from the zoning case and really deals with those community issues, it would be a series of restrictive covenants and a declaration that we'd be willing to record, assuming the zoning is approved. And what we have been doing is working with several community leaders on all of those points that would go into that declaration, and we're very close on some of those things. As recently as just outside the council chambers tonight. And so the plan would be to continue those conversations and then to have those community leaders make sure that we are communicating the outcomes of that before we come back on August 4th, if that's the will of the council, to make sure that we not only are talking to those leaders, but that information is shared. So hopefully narrow those issues down in short order, and then have some time to communicate that back out.
Thank you. And was there any exploration of a statutory development agreement at some point?
No, the way that the downtown zoning, and I don't want to speak for staff because I know they have a lot more history on this than I do, but the way that the downtown zoning was pursued was with a general rezoning. And when it became clear that some of these issues were community issues that weren't your typical proffers that you see in a case like something that relates directly to the land, stormwater, for example, it was more appropriate to put it into something that would be recorded against the land. And we got comfortable over a long period of time with a series of a declaration of restrictive covenants being the vehicle that the landowner was comfortable with.
Okay, that's all I have for now.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. Schwedler. And just to confirm also, so if that document were then sort of signed following the approval on the 4th, that document would stay with the land. It would not, if your client decided to sell, it would still remain with the land, correct?
That's correct. That's the way that restrictive covenants work. They bind the land despite whoever the owner is.
Great, thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
Will we be able to see that document?
I'm not opposed to sharing that. We don't have it completed yet, and so that would be something that we would want to make sure we work out completely before I would share it in a final form.
And do you think that you'd be ready to have it completed before August the 4th?
Yes.
Okay.
But we wouldn't be recording it unless the zoning is approved.
I understand that, yeah. I think for us sitting up here, it just feels a little scary to have things with private landowners that are not part of the zoning. And so we're normally dealing with proffers that we are able to ensure are like legally followed.
Right.
So for me, I think seeing that document ahead of time would be helpful.
Absolutely, and it does contain things that are not typical of a zoning case, and so it is a different vehicle, but is binding on the land, just as Councilmember Riss noted.
And I know on the council, there's been a number of times people have said, whose community? So who exactly are you talking to? And who would you be negotiating with?
We've made multiple attempts to meet directly with Hayti Reborn. I have not been given a date to do that separately, despite offering to do that at the Planning Commission. And we have met instead with several members, including the founder of Hayti Reborn, as well as some prominent leaders that understand the issues, both with the issues that group has raised, as well as the issues that St. Mark has raised.
When you say prominent leader, you got to be more specific.
We've been meeting with Senator McKissick, who's been volunteering his time to help the community crystallize their thoughts.
Okay. And the founder you're speaking to is?
Henry McCoy.
Okay. And is there anyone else?
There's a group of folks involved in that, including Carl Webb and Terrence White.
Thank you.
And we're happy, as I said to the Planning Commission, we're happy to continue meeting with anyone who's willing to give us a date. That unfortunately hasn't been done with each of the groups, but over the course of the 3 years, we've certainly met with all of them, whether in small groups or large community areas, in their churches, in their living rooms, and we're absolutely willing to do that. We appreciate any help facilitating those types of meetings if there's people that feel like they haven't been heard.
Definitely be more than happy to help facilitate getting that meeting together.
Great.
Especially because I noticed you didn't mention any women, so I just want to point that out.
Well, I've been dealing directly with Anita, and no, I would like to answer your question. I've been dealing directly with Anita and have a series of over 10 emails asking.
I'm sorry, stop, one second. In these chambers, we will have respect. I would not tolerate the outburst. Not in these chambers. We are in a public hearing.
If you'd be willing to coordinate a meeting with Anita Scott Neville, who we've offered dates to multiple times, I would appreciate your help.
Not just her, but yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will support the continuance. I want to be very clear. I've been speaking with community members, and just like I do every other case, I've spoken with you all in some cases, trying to facilitate some of the requests. And usually when there's a continuance on a plot of land, like, okay, fine. This is, as I stated 3 years ago, this is very sensitive land. And there are folks that we revere as history makers in this city that literally resided on that land. This is not just any other plot of land. This is Durham's history, no matter your race, color, creed, whatever. When you talk about Durham's history, you're talking about this community. I will be full, as I've looked through this case, as I've spoken to community representatives and spoken with you all, I have been ready to pass this case. I was ready to vote for it. But if I have community members that are saying, listen, I know you all have been talking, but I don't feel comfortable yet, and you all are willing to continue that conversation, I have respect for you for that. And I have respect for the community members that are willing to negotiate in good faith. I haven't liked everything I've seen, but I do appreciate the willingness to actually have more dialogue. And I think that it needs to be done respectfully. And I've said this to some of you all sitting in the audience tonight in person. I'm only one person and I'm the mayor. I cannot go to each and every single individual person. So therefore, I do go to representatives, and I think that when there's an opportunity for the community to come together in that neighborhood, come together, come together, speak, and actually negotiate in good faith on what is here. Y'all figure that out. When you come back here, we will consider what the case may be that night. If you're asking for a continuance, I'll support that. But it can't be this contentious thing, because it doesn't work good for any of us. And Hayti is a community that's been divested in or underinvested in for decades. It was this council that chose to say, listen, the last council that said, we're going to put money into this community, $10 million. And we need to build on that. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to do that. We got to figure out how we're going to do it. And I hope that during these deliberations, you can figure that out. But it can't be, we don't like those folks, but yeah, let's come talk. You're not here to talk. You're not here to like anybody. You're here to find out a way to get the best outcome for the community. So I hope that that's what will happen. I will honor your request for continuance tonight. And I hope that when you all come back, whatever the commitments are, I hope that everybody is on the same page. So, colleagues, I am going to poll you all at this point. Yes.
I was wondering if I could get that number from staff that I'd requested.
Mayor Pro Tem.
231.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, colleagues. I want to make sure we don't leave here tonight and miss something very important that happened. And I want to thank Councilmember Baker for asking what happens in the interim, and Councilmember Freeman for operationalizing the term community. Something very important happened. We just asked the developer who she's talking to. I counted 5 names and 1 organization. There are more than 5 people in here. So you just heard who they're talking to on y'all's behalf. If you're not rocking with one of those folk or that organization, you need to make that known between now and when we come back here. You just heard who the community is that this developer is speaking to. So we're leaving here with an understanding that there's far more than 5 of y'all sitting here. So whose voice is representing you? You've heard those names. If those are the names, cool. But if we need to augment that list or add to that list, now you've heard, read out loud, who they're talking to. If we need to add that list, please let us know so we can have as fulsome and robust a conversation and inclusive a conversation as possible. Because you need to know, we've gotten emails from folk on the other side of this issue as well. We've gotten emails from business owners and people who live in that corridor. So I don't want to pretend that we're monolith or there's just one voice. So please make sure that your voice and your views are reflected in this conversation. And if you didn't hear a name that reflects your views, please make sure your voice is heard between now and our next meeting. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you. I did want to just appreciate the mayor and stating very plainly how this could be, just voted on this evening, and appreciate the developer's willingness, or the developer's attorney's willingness to continue the case. And I do want to say, very plainly, I am no magic maker, and I tend to just listen. So I'm not trying to negotiate on behalf. If there are folks in the audience that want to be involved in a conversation, I strongly suggest you speak to Henry McCoy, Senator McKissick, Carl Webb, or Anita Scott Neville. If you haven't been speaking to those people already, or there's, I'm sorry, and did you, and Terrence White. I know that this piece of property, as has been stated a number of times, is historic, but it's also in my neighborhood. And so I'm very biased about this. And so I want to be really clear, I am in no way, shape, or form voting against Hayti. There's nothing coming from this side of the dais that is going to support anything that the community is not supporting. And that community is everyone that's been in this room, everyone who's been at the Planning Commission, everyone who entered comments. And so for me, being able to pull whomever that wants to speak to the developer into a room is up to you all. So, and that's a conversation, not an argument, not a debate, but actually figuring out what differences can be made that can be documented and codified. As I know, I heard the statutory development agreement and the restrictive covenants and declaration. Those are two things that we can work from very clearly. If there are other things that you are hoping and dreaming for, I want that to come to the side of this conversation, and we need to figure out how to pull those things in on the side of this work, because this is not a part of that development. So I'm open to spending time on it. It will not be this week, I will tell you now. The twins turn 16 tomorrow, and they have the rest of this week. But outside of that, I'm more than happy to spend as much time between now and August 4th doing this work. I know there's been a number of meetings at St. Mark's, and I know that, I didn't hear you say Pritchard, but I know Pastor Pritchard's probably in here somewhere.
Yes.
And a number of other pastors that can be helpful. I didn't hear you say Durham Can. I didn't hear you say Be Connected. I didn't hear you say Hayti Heritage. There's a lot, folks. And I know that you hired a community engagement person to get, or organization to get involved, but I don't think 3 months is enough time. So I grant you grace, as a colleague mentioned. This is a large project. It's going to have a huge impact, and the fear is high. Trust is very low. You know this already. And we can just move from here to the next stop.
And I just want to clarify, I didn't mean to suggest we're excluding Reverend Pridgeon. We've been talking to him for 3 years. I talked to him in a sidebar just during one of the breaks. We'll continue that conversation. We'll continue to talk with Hayti Heritage Center, who's have a little bit of a change in leadership. It's just that when we're talking about the declaration and getting to the bottom of the terms, it's been a smaller group that's representing a lot of the things that we've told the community we wanted to incorporate during our 3 years of community work, 2 of which before the zoning process even started. And so the Hesters were included that because we've been meeting with them for 2 years. Some of those issues can't be included in a declaration, but it doesn't mean that we're not considering those or that I'm excluding anyone.
I would like to say that if I don't say this publicly, it doesn't, reach everyone. I'm going to lean very heavily on the organization that proclaims to be the representative of Black people in this community, the Durham Committee. And knowing that Terrence and others have been working on this very closely for the last 3 years, and Senator McKissick has stepped up to get involved along with others, I think it would be really helpful, because they do create spaces where Black folks can talk to one another, that there is an opportunity for us to have that conversation aside and apart from the conversation that's just open to everyone. And outside of that, I'm thinking, I know that there are other groups that meet, and trying to figure out how to make sure that you're pulling the conversation into where conversations already happen. I know there were some artistic spaces that have, like the Church of Arts. There are a number of already existing spaces and places that I want to just kind of name out loud that I think we should have conversations in, and I will lean on the folks in this room to figure that out, and folks online who are willing and able to spend some time on this. Thank you. Also, the NAACP, I want to be very clear, there are others, but that, yes.
Councilmember Freeman, do you have any other comments?
Lots more, but I'll save them.
All right, save them. There is Hayti Healing, Hayti One Voice, Hayti Promise, Hayti Reborn, Hayti Reborn Justice Movement. There are a lot of Haytis. And we've also said a lot of names tonight. Let me be clear. The council is not deeming anyone a public responsibility, but I am asking the community to please come together, as it's been stated, and have these convenings so that this can happen within the next amount of however time until August 4th. So I don't want to, Dr. McCoy, I'm not putting you on payroll for the city, but you continue the work you're doing as a community leader and whoever else that is there. But I don't want to start knighting and deeming organizations, say you're responsible for this, but let's do what we do. I will say this case is special simply because of the sensitivity and where it is, which is why I'm actually entertaining how deep we go into this, and I appreciate the colleagues for also delving into this as well. But I will say we're going to have to figure out how to get it together and come up with a plan that's going to best serve this area of Durham's history. It's not just Black history, it's Durham's history. No matter what color, race, or creed, when you talk about Durham's history, you're talking about this area. Starting in many other areas, of course, but mainly here. So I hope that we can figure this out. Again, I wanted to say this also. And no disrespect to you all as the applicant or developer, but you all can tell these folks anything you want, and you can renege on it. Whoa. I'm not even asking for hand claps. I'm basically stating the truth. They can sit down and tell you whatever you want to hear, and then they can renege on it. They cannot do that when it comes to here. My point is the only way things are codified is when they come before this council. So as you are going back and forth in negotiations and conversations, don't expect someone that's going to make a legally binding document by sitting in front of you. That's why you elected us. You elected us to do a job. We are the community's representatives. Use us. Councilmember Freeman just agreed to sit down, and I know 3 years ago, I remember, I said, y'all need to meet the folks at Fed Place. You're going to be building on sensitive land. And the meetings have started, and you met whoever, and then the rezoning happened in December. Then you actually had to do community engagement. So I'm not going to sit here and act like you all haven't done engagement. No, you haven't talked to every single person, but you have done engagement. I appreciate that. I also appreciate the acknowledgement of understanding that you see what we're talking about. This is very sensitive land. But do know, to the community here, far and abroad, and wherever, it is codified here. The conversations and negotiations can happen, the agreements can happen, but it is not ordinance, it is not law until it is recorded on this record. And that is why you elected us. No other way, all right? So just want to put that out there, make sure the expectations are clear. And I'm saying that because I spoke to some of you all and said, they need to make it a legally binding document to us first. It ain't happening. It don't work that way, okay? So this is us learning how government works and how it can work and how it should work. All right? I'll honor your continuance. Colleagues, thumbs up. All right, it's continued.
Thank you.
August 4th. Colleagues, I have a few other items, just a couple of items. We have a councilman, if you are leaving the chambers, please try to leave as quiet as possible because we're almost out of here too. We want to come with you. Colleagues, back in August, we talked about our July date, meeting date. And we said we would move it to the general business agenda. And when we moved it to the general business agenda, we forgot what we said in the work session. And we said, well, we can adjust it later. We never adjusted it. So I need us to make a decision, and I'm proposing that we move the July meetings, cancel the July meetings, and move it to August 4th. where we will have a work session and an actual council meeting in the same day.
Okay. We got a big day.
This is what we did last year, and this is, yeah. Colleagues, Councilmember Cook.
I am fine with that because I will be out of town until then, so that works for me. But I will have to ask for I will have to request an absence for the work session on Monday.
You want to go ahead and do that tonight, because this is the last
That
meeting
is
that
why I'm
we're
doing
going to
it,
have
yes.
before then. So let me just get an agreement. Do we need to vote? Okay. So before we actually do any, Terrence. Before we take that motion, Madam Council Member, let me have Councilmember Caballero's question.
So you're proposing that we move the work session that would have been on July 24th to August 4th? I just want to make sure I've got
Correct,
my
yeah.
dates. Okay,
Yep.
so then we would have no meetings?
No meetings in July.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understood.
So let me do this. Questions?
We're just, so we don't have a work session between now and this, it'll be the August 4th. That's our next,
Next time we're in these chambers will be July 4th.
August 4th.
I'll see y'all at the Bulls game on July 4th. It would be August 4th.
Gotcha.
Another clarifying question.
Yeah, thank you. Can staff just give us, the agenda sooner? Sometimes we don't get it to like that third. Do not do that to us, please. Do not give us that agenda the Thursday before the Monday. If staff could give us the agenda, because it's going to be a long day. And so I want the opportunity to make sure I can get through the agenda, since we're going to go from the work session to passing what's on the work session, like just a couple hours later. Thank
So
you.
Councilmember Caballero is asking for the agenda on her vacation.
We'll relay that
on a vacation.
question to staff and make sure that we do our best. I would imagine, given that we already had earlier deadlines for the agenda process, that shouldn't be a problem.
All right, colleagues, I'll entertain a motion to move the July 24th council meeting to July 24th work session to August 4th at 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
So moved.
Nine or one.
Do you need a thumbs up or you need a clerk to take a vote on this?
We have to take a vote.
Okay.
We don't have a motion because we don't have a time yet.
Yeah, so I'm going to rescind this.
You want to do it at 9 a.m.?
9 a.m. or 1 p.m. Do y'all want to do morning and then take a break and then go to the evening, or you want to go like sort of straight through?
Yeah, let's do, I prefer morning.
Morning, 9, 10? 10, okay. All right, so colleagues, let me entertain this motion for the record. I'll entertain a motion to move our July 24th meeting, work session, to August 4th at 10 a.m.
So moved.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please open the vote. Please close the vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
And I'll also entertain a motion to provide an excused absence for Councilmember Cook for the work session on August 4th at 10 a.m.
No, I'm coming with her wherever she's going. So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
So you're coming back, you're going to be here that night then?
I will.
Yeah.
I'm starting my new job on August the 4th, so I just can't commit to the morning.
Yeah, it's been moved and properly seconded. Actually, I didn't get a second.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded to provide an excused absence of the work session on August 4th at 10 a.m. for Councilmember Cook. Madam Clerk, please open the vote. All right, and I need to get an excused absence to extend my, all right, never mind, I'll be back.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yes.
Council members, in light of that move, I would encourage you all, when you do receive the agenda, if you have early questions on that process, maybe more important with the move, just to give staff those questions in advance to make sure we're prepared. Just because if those questions don't come up until the work session, we may have less time between the work session and the evening adoption meeting to get those answered. So the earlier you have those to us, the better prepared we'll be at work session to address them. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, my last comment is I just want you all to not only be vigilant, but just be safe. Considering what's happening in Minnesota, Melvin Carter, the mayor of St. Paul, called me literally an hour after this incident happened, the second one that they found. What we do is not an easy job. As many of you all know, I've had my issues of vandalism and car break-ins and threats. Some of you all in email, just please be safe. Please be aware of our surroundings. Yeah, just keep your antennas up. Yes.
And I just wanted to just take a moment and offer our condolences to the Garrett family. Mr. Dennis Garrett of Love and Respect passed away yesterday. And I just wanted to share that with folks so that they know and offer support to the family. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. With that being said, at 10:44 with the, okay, I started to put my glasses on, I didn't. At 10:14, with the city budget of over $750 million passed, we are adjourned. See you in August.